Chat. Chat. Chat! Go live in 5 minutes and make myself some food. Chat. Sit tight. Chat. Chat! Go live in 5 minutes and make myself some food. Sit tight. Chat! I'm here now. Hi. Oh, I'm a little bit darker than I thought it was going to be. I'm here now. Oops. I've left that preview on. That was silly of me. Good news is the sound works. Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome again to More coverage from E3. It never ends. Phil Spencer owns me now, and I'm never going away. We're here for the Xbox Games Showcase Extended, which I feel, you know, there's a little bit of a grammatical issue in that. I feel like they could have phrased that different, a little bit clunky. But we're here now, and that's all that matters. I ran back from work for this chat, so I hope it's worth it. I'm hoping for some good stuff. Hope you're as hyped for it as I am. If you're not, whatever, it's only gonna be like an hour. Gonna eat some food, chat. Gotta eat some food. Food. Those of you wondering, I'm eating a chickpea biryani. Sorry, I should have offered. Do you want some? Here. It's good. It's got lots of rice and pulses. Kind of stuff I like. Ran back from work for this, so a little hungry. Never thought I'd be the kind of guy who liked the vodka tonic, chat. It turns out I'm the kind of guy who likes the vodka tonic. You can't decide on how he likes his lighting. We'll figure it out, chat. We'll figure it out. How are you? How are y'all doing? It's been a minute. It's been like 4 days. How long's it been? Better than Insta story. Smile for the story, chat. I can do better. Hold on. Cool. Did it. Oh, man. Someone out there on my Insta story has got their hammock out, and I'm just like, I wish I had a garden so I could have a hammock. It's really the only reason I would want one. Yeah, right. The only reason I would want a hammock, chat. Or, sorry, no, it's the only reason I want a garden. This is when everyone decides they want to talk to me. All right. 12 minutes now, chat. 12 minutes until we go to the thing. Got 12 minutes to eat this kind of curry. What is that? Is that seems to be a very charred onion. Here's a tomato. We eat it anyway, it's fine. I cooked it, I'm sure it's fine. I trust myself about as far as I can throw me. So, there's that. Alright, so I know you're all wondering. I know you're all thinking about what I'm thinking. Scotland-England match tomorrow, chat. Am I going to watch it? Maybe. I don't know. Do I think we're going to win? No. I think it's going to be very painful to watch. Am I going to get a couple of beers and cry? Probably. If I'm honest, that seems to be my plan. Wow, that shot up. So let me know what your plans are for the big match. You're watching it. I know there's some Scots folks amongst us, much like myself. I know there's even some English subscribers on the channel, chat. I just want to let you know, I'm not going to think any less of you when we beat you. I'm kidding. I am going to think less of you. I don't even care about football, chat. I do not. I care not for this sport malarkey you keep talking about. I'm just like, there's no roller skates involved. Can't do it in a pub. Why would I be interested? You know? Makes no sense to me, chat. Makes no sense. If you just join us, first off, hey, where the hell you been? I'm watching you. Secondly, it's time for the Xbox Games Showcase Extended. They need a better name. They need a better name for this. We're going to be live co-streaming this. It's going to be some conversations, some trailers, some updates for some cool Xbox Game Studios titles coming out. We're expecting to hear from Obsidian, so probably going to hear a bit more about Outer Worlds 2. We're going to hear something from Rare, probably about Sea of Thieves, I guess. We're going to get a little bit from Double Fine. I'm reckoning probably about Psychonauts 2. And then we're going to hear from Ninja Theory, who've got obviously a couple of titles in the going right now. They are working on Hellblade 2. It's the newest saga, I believe they're going to call it. And they are currently also working on Project Mara, which is something I'm looking forward to hearing more about. We did the Microsoft and Bethesda conference on Sunday. That was fun. Lot of good stuff there. I'm really excited for a lot of it. Yeah. So this should be a little bit more of the same, I think. All right. I got 7 minutes, chat. Emergency pee break, and we're gonna hit this up. Let's do it. BRB. Yo, what's up, chat? I don't know why I didn't think I was live, but I'm live. Stream health is good. Alright, we're here. We're live. It's all good. It's all gravy, baby. 6 minutes now. Oh. Oh, yeah. And breathe. So, how have y'all been? Doing all right? You look good. I can see you through the camera. What camera? You know what I'm talking about. Don't lie. I can see you. I'm a little tired, chat. I'm going to talk weird shit today. What's different from usual, I hear you ask? Very little. I lost my fork. It's fine, Chad. It's a fork. I wiped it clean. Add some tasty chickpeas. That's what you want. We're gonna go to the showcase in 4 minutes. Just a heads up, by the way, this Sunday evening in our regular slot, we are going to be going over some of the trailers that we didn't get a chance to watch during the rest of the conference. I've got a couple picked out that I kind of want to check out and go over with y'all. I think it'll be fun. And then the plan is to play a Plague Tale. They've just announced a sequel coming to Game Pass. So we're going to go check that out. I've been meaning to play it for a while now. And yeah, it looks really good. So we're going to go do that. So that's going to be Sunday, 6 o'clock probably. Maybe about 5:30 kickoff. So hope to see you there. We'll have an event episode. Still not sure about the lighting. Better? Or better? Is there much of a difference? I mean, there's much of a difference to what I can see, but I don't know how much attention you're paying. I wish they'd scheduled it in a way that had more time for dinner chat. Oh. That would have been nice of them. Well, bro move I've exposed to. I schedule things in a time where I didn't have to be scarfed down a doll. Alright, chat. We're at a 2-minute timer. So, we're going to move over to stream audio. Going to cut the music. And then we're going to begin. To those of you just joining us, welcome to the Local Cryptid Show with Local Cryptid. Tonight, we're watching the Xbox Games Showcase Extended event, the worst named press conference of this year's E3. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Gonna see some more video games, chat. So strap in, chill out, take a sip for me. It's gonna be fun. Okay, it's a time. It's time. Or, I mean, like, there's a whole other 2-minute countdown this thing's gotta go through before it's time, but you know what I mean. Excuse me. Gotta tell you though, Microsoft have really knocked it out the park with their stuff this year. Second press conference, so many stories, so many updates to Game Pass, so much update, so much update, so many updates to their general like tech and whatever. Like they really have knocked it out the park. So I'm really keen to see what else they've got. You know? It's gonna be exciting. I hope you're all as keen as I am. As soon as it begins. All right. We're here. Continues to eat curry. Oh no. I gotta stop eating rice at my desk. That's what I gotta do. Another bit. It's just like a big charred tomato or something. I realize I'm saying all these things and you have no idea what I'm talking about. I realize also I'm talking with my mouth full and that's really rude. So hungry, chap. Alright, no more food. We're just for real now. Now this is the clip reel that they showed at the end of Sunday's event. So I don't think we'll see anything new here. There really was so much good stuff about Sunday's event, chat. I'm so hyped for video games. I'm having such a nice time. Slime Rancher. That was a surprise. $27 games coming to Game Pass for less than like a McDonald's, you know? Game Pass is about the price of a couple of pints in my regular, you know? Here we go.
And welcome to Xbox Game Showcase Extended. I'm your host, Paris Lilly. You may also know me from Gamertag Radio and Kinda Funny. I'm excited to be here with you today. We just saw a recap of Sunday's Xbox Showcase, and wow, 30 games from some of the world's most talented developers, and 27 of those games are coming to you on Xbox Game Pass. We saw the first in-engine footage of Starfield and learned that, yes, Bethesda is bringing it to Xbox, PC, and day one on Game Pass exclusively. They also showed us Battlefield 2042, Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life, Stalker 2, Psychonauts 2, and how about Redfall? Like they said, this year, Xbox is all about the games. Today, Xbox Game Showcase Extended is our chance to hear from the developers behind
Such
the
a
games
dumb
that are
name, chat.
redefining interactive entertainment. Developers like Double Fine, Playground Games, Supergiant, Rare, 343 Industries, and more. We also have a new accessory
Such a
design
dumb name.
program to share with you, and a couple of other cool surprises. That's enough talk. Let's jump right in.
Starting strong with Forza,
You can
all
see
right?
it for yourselves. Forza Horizon 5 looks phenomenal. And here with us today, all
I think
the
I
way
can
from
keep
the
eating
UK
if this is what's
Mike
going on.
Brown from Playground Games.
What's
Mike,
up?
thanks
Hey,
so much
Mike.
for joining us.
Hey, great to be here.
Now, Mike, Forza Horizon has taken driving fans to Colorado, France, Italy, Australia, and the UK. How did you decide on Mexico for Forza Horizon 5?
Yeah, so we knew right from the start that we wanted it to be the largest Horizon yet. But it's not far down the path from that you realize you don't want to go big if it's just going to be more of the same. So we also knew that it needed to be the most contrasting, most diverse open world we'd ever built. And then when you start to look at Mexico, it really is like the whole world in one country. It's got snowy peaks, tropical jungles, epic canyons, amazing beaches, beautiful architecture, incredible historic cities, but also modern cities as well. It really has everything. And then you add in the culture, the music, the artwork, the people, the history, and there really is no more exciting location for the Horizon Festival.
Now that we're in Mexico, what are some of the authentic elements that we can expect in the game?
Yeah, totally. So we've got the largest and most diverse world we've ever built. And as I mentioned just a moment ago, something that really excited us about Mexico is the culture. So we've worked with creatives from all across Mexico. We've had Mexican artists produce beautiful mural artwork that you'll find on the walls around the game. We've worked with Mexican music acts to produce original compositions for the game. We've worked with Mexican scriptwriters and actors so that all of those Mexican voices you hear in the game will sound really authentic. And perhaps not as obvious, but the other thing that is super authentic is all of our light data and skies. So we had a team out in Mexico with our 12K HDR sky capture rig. We captured more than 400 hours of sky data, and then we recreate that in game. So all of the light, the shadows,
That's a lot,
and color
chat.
information, all of it is recreated in game based on real light data captured from Mexico. So everything you're seeing there is
Of all the
just has
things
that
to
real
go into
authenticity,
super amounts of
that
detail on,
feeling
you know?
of reality.
Now, we got a peek at Event Lab. Now, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Event Lab is a really exciting new suite of tools that will allow people in the community to create whatever they can imagine, really. If we look at the video right now, all of this that we see has been built using that Event Lab tool set. The bowling pins that have been placed, so someone's gone along, they've placed those, and then they've created rules that touch on them as well. So as we see, every time they're hitting them, a rule has been set up such that it gives players points. And then also in that clip, you can see that everyone else in that multiplayer session is hitting bowling pins as well, and all of that is adding into a collective team score. The rules could have easily been set up so that it wasn't a team score, that it was competitive. All of that creative freedom is open to players. It's as a game designer, I think it's the feature that I'm most excited about in Forza Horizon 5.
And I would say, as a gamer, it's a feature I'm definitely excited about.
I mean, it could be a lot of fun.
It's going to open up some unique
To be
features
totally honest.
between me and my friends. Now,
Some
with
good
the
stuff you can
power of
make with
the
that.
Xbox Series X and the S, what are some of the new technical features that we can expect?
So in Forza Vista, we're really able to turn up everything, ramp everything on, turn on ray tracing, and we have the cars looking more realistic than they ever have before, unparalleled detail. But that detail, it does apply to the rest of the world as well. During the Xbox E3 showcase the other day, I mentioned we'd modeled the detail on everything, right down to the individual needles on the Choya cactus. That was just the plants that happened to be closest to the camera at that point. That level of detail is applied to everything that you see. And thanks to the power of the Xbox Series consoles, it's not just things that are right in front of the camera as well. We've really been able to push out all of the LODs and the draw distance and everything so that everything in the scene is full of that detail. And then, as I mentioned,
I said this on Sunday, right?
So you get this realistic
So
lighting,
the thing about
shadows,
Forza
AO, all of it comes
is that
together
it's
to create a
already
scene that just looks
the
real.
perfect driving
Now,
game,
Mike,
right?
when can the world
Like,
expect to play Forza
Fairly
Horizon?
universally accepted.
Sure. So we're launching this holiday on the Xbox
So the only
Series
thing they can
consoles,
really
the Xbox
improve
One
on
consoles, we're on
is the
PC,
graphics.
on both the Windows 10 store
You're really
and
playing the
Steam.
same
Of
game
course,
over
we're
and
in
over and
Game
over
Pass
again.
and Game Pass Ultimate, and
I mean,
you
I
can play
think
us
this
on your Android
a
devices
really
with
nice
Xbox
sweet
Cloud
tools are
Gaming.
going to bring into this one as
And
well.
players
But
who purchase the premium
ultimately,
edition, or if they're a Game Pass subscriber and get
you
the
know,
premium add-ons bundle, you'll get early access as well. So you'll be able to play a little bit earlier than everybody else.
really, what else is
Now,
there to
Mike,
add
this
to
is a
this?
huge moment for you and the team. What does this mean to you?
Yeah, well, for me personally, I mean, I've been working on the Forza franchise for a really, really long time, but this is my first game as creative director. So in this period over the last few days and week or so, as people are seeing it for the first time, for me, it's probably been one of the most exciting experiences of my life. It's been absolutely incredible.
Again, Mike, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Later in the show, we'll be hearing from the developers behind games like Age of Empires 4, Shredders, and Grounded. But first, the team at Ninja Theory has something to share with you. Here's Tamim, Chief Creative Ninja, to explain what they've been hard at work on for Hellblade 2.
All right. Now we're
Hello,
talking.
everyone, and welcome to our brand spanking new Ninja House in Cambridge. I wanted to give you an update on the work so far for Senua Saga Hellblade 2. What we're doing right now is building a good chunky slice of the game before we then move into full production to build out the rest. Hellblade was very special for us, and we didn't want to do a straight sequel. We wanted to do something extra special, and so we're making our lives as difficult as possible in that pursuit. The game
Of course.
is set in Iceland, 9th century Iceland, so we've been sending out art and audio teams out there, doing photography, photogrammetry, and combining it with satellite data to recreate large swathes of the landscape. On the character front, we're building real costumes, scanning them in. We're collaborating with Epic Games to bring you next-generation digital characters. On the combat front, we want it to be extra real.
Oh yeah, they're building an Unreal
And
5,
so
aren't they?
Melina, our main actress, has been training for 2 years, and all of our animators have undergone combat training. And so what you're going to see here is not a trailer, it's not a gameplay reveal, but rather a montage of the kind of work we've been up to. Hope you like it.
Okay, so it's not going to be really gameplay we're going to see. That's all right. I'm still keen to see it, you know? I still want to see what's going on.
Will you follow me on this journey? By sea, by land, and dreams, through the valleys of despair, over the mountains of rage, to the depth of fear in my mind. You might see me as weak, but I will show you what lies behind my eyes. With our swords, we will forge new stories to strike the gods that haunt us. We will embrace our suffering, soothe our scars of grief, and break their siege of our minds.
Intriguing.
They may see them as gods, but we will show them what lies behind our eyes.
Gá er í á fjalli, undis njóta.
So still no idea what the game is going to look like. I'm still excited though, you know? Sweet, so custom controllers are back. Do I want a custom controller, chat? I mean, I want one, obviously, but do I need one?
And that is Xbox Design Lab. And here to tell us more about Xbox Design Lab is Naveen Kumar. Naveen, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Paris.
So, what is Xbox Design Lab?
Design Lab is a controller customization service on Xbox.com where you can choose nearly any color combination you want for your controller and really make it
What
yours.
kind of colors would I even
You can
get? I
design
mean,
a
I know the
controller
channel's
based
kind of like
off your
purple and
favorite
whatever, but
video game character, your favorite
I don't know.
sports team, or whatever inspires you. And you can think of Design Lab as your own personal design studio. Now, we've originally launched Design Lab 5 years ago and have since sold millions of controllers to fans around the world. But then we had to take a pause as we brought up our latest generation of Xbox hardware. But now we're back offering customization on the latest generation Xbox wireless controller.
Now, we have so many awesome controllers here right now. Can you kind of talk a little bit about them?
Yeah, well, right off the bat, you can see there's tons of color options to choose from. For most of the parts on the controller, you can choose among 18 different colors for all the different pieces on the exterior. 3 of those colors are brand new to Design Lab. We have Shock Blue, Pulse Red, and my personal favorite, the Electric Volt color. Most of the colors include post-consumer recycled resins in them. So there's a portion of things that are ground up, like automotive headlights, recycled water bottle jugs, things that make the controller more eco-friendly. We also have new button options for the ABXY button set
That's
and the
cool.
View Menu Share, including a really cool button option for ABXY that's a throwback to the original Xbox 360 controller. So you got to check that out. And yeah, this is just the beginning. We're excited to introduce more.
So at least
customization
some of
options
the
over time.
parts are kind of
Now,
recycled.
2
That's
of these
good.
controllers were inspired by games. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so there's a blue and green and purple one that's inspired by Psychonauts 2. We just love the key art for that one, so we work with our partners to develop a controller to help bring that to life. And there's also one that's inspired by Grounded and the aphid character from that game. We had a lot of fun
Aw,
designing that as well. As the controller kind of looks
Ladybug.
like an aphid if you look at it from the right angles.
Now, I created my own controller. I'm going to pick it up now. I'm a huge Los Angeles Lakers fan. World champion Los
course you
Angeles
can.
Lakers. And my design was
Course
inspired
you
by
are.
that. So I went with the yellow on the front. I went with the purple on the back. I designed the buttons kind of with the black accent along with the shoulders and the triggers. But I also did an inscription on it. And my inscription says, Ka can't cook. And that is inspired by my good friend, Khalif Adams. He does a fantastic show called Spawn on Me, but he's a terrible cook. So I want to make sure that every time I pick up a controller to play on Xbox, I'm reminded how terrible of a cook he is and to avoid it at all costs. But enough of terrible cooking. let's talk about something that you designed.
That was such a
Yeah, I designed this.
That was such a
controller right from
weird
here.
fucking story,
Again, one of my
Chad.
favorite colors,
What
electric
was that
gold. I just love
story?
the way
my
that the midnight blue accents
Paris.
against it. The dark ABXY
What the hell,
color.
man?
And this one's inspired by a pair of sneakers I have at home, so I had to make a controller based off that.
That's awesome. Now, one last thing. When can fans expect to start designing their own Xbox controllers?
They can start today by visiting xbox.com/Xbox Design Lab. There's tons of inspirations to choose from. Customization is really fun, and we're shipping controllers to US, Canada, and most Western European countries. And these make great gifts, whether it's for yourself or that special.
Bet
gamer
the
in
shipping
your
to the
life.
UK is going to
That
be
is
terrible.
fantastic. Naveen, thank
Thanks,
you so much
Brexit.
for being here.
Thanks, Paris.
Later in the show, World's Edge will give us a deeper look at Age of Empires 4. But first, Tim Schafer is giving us a closer look at Psychonauts 2.
Pray silence
Hi,
for
everybody.
Sir
I'm
Tim.
Tim Schafer from Double Fine Productions here today to take a deeper look into Psychonauts 2. Psychonauts 2 is an action-adventure game starring Rasputin Aquato, a powerful young psychic, also trained acrobat, who ran away from his circus home to join the Psychonauts and expand and
I
explore
love that.
his
Ran
psychic
away
abilities.
from the
One of
circus.
Raz's most
Chat.
important psychic abilities is that of astral projection, which allows him to project his psyche into someone else's mind and see their mental landscape made real. He can help them wrestle with their inner demons and fight their actual nightmares in person. Which means that the levels in the game are actually brains. And Psychonauts 2 has even more brains than the first game. One of the first brains you'll get to visit is that of Caligosto Lobato. Now, Dr. Lobato was actually a villain in the first game, but after Raz fought him, they kind of became friends. He actually has a piece of information that Raz wants, which is who kidnapped Truman Zanotto. And Dr. Lobato wants to tell you, but he can't, because of something going on deep in his unconscious mind. So Raz has to travel, along with Sasha, Mia, and Coach Oleander, into his mind and try to extract that information. And there's a lot of forces at work inside Lobato's mind, maybe put there by someone else, who are trying to stop you, including some of the enemies that you might recognize from the first Psychonauts game, including the Censors, entities designed to stamp out thoughts that don't belong in someone's mind, including Raz, who doesn't belong here. But you also see a lot of new enemies, such as doubts and regrets. Lobato's mind is plagued with doubts and regrets, and they're very dangerous for Raz. Did I mention there's a lot of teeth? Have I mentioned there's a lot of teeth? There's a lot of teeth.
A lot of
He's an
teeth.
amateur dentist. He doesn't know a lot about teeth, but he really, really likes them. Luckily, to fight all these enemies, Raz will have his psychic powers, including his powerful psychic punch, where he has these hands that extend psychically from his body into a powerful melee combo. He also has his psychic blast, where he can shoot a powerful energy beam out of his brain. Raz also has the ability of pyrokinesis. It's always handy to be able to burn things with your mind.
This is useful.
And
Yeah.
levitation. Raz can use his own thoughts, his own thought bubble over his head as a balloon to float around or ride around on to get somewhere really quickly.
It's
So
useful.
with these new powers, Raz can fight
Wish I had
all
that power.
these new enemies and hopefully find out who kidnapped Truman Zanotto. Now, while Truman's been kidnapped, the person running the Psychonauts is Hollis Forsyth, the second head of the Psychonauts. Hollis is also the head of the intern program, which is what Raz has joined now that he's become part of the Psychonauts. And he is invited into Hollis's brain for instruction. Hollis is teaching him a new psychic ability called mental connection, where you can see two thoughts in someone's mind and connect them, sometimes creating new thoughts, making new things happen. While Raz is training in mental connection inside of Hollis's mental classroom, he experiments a little too far and accidentally, maybe slightly on purpose, creates a lot of interest in gambling inside of Hollis's mind because he wants to go on the mission to the Lady Luctopus Casino. Unfortunately, this connection leads to more connections, and eventually the whole thing gets out of Raz's control, and Hollis gets
that name.
way too interested in gambling. And Raz has to go back into her mind, where he finds out that her memories of medical school, and where she studied neurology, have been corrupted by this gambling interest, and it becomes a casino hospital. And Raz has to actually go in there and engage with all these gambling machines in order to shut it down and return Hollis's mind back to normal. And she's gonna be really mad. Inside Hollis's mind, you'll see bigger, tougher sensors that have turned into bouncers inside the casino, and also a new enemy called Bad Idea. Where Bad Ideas spawn actual nasty-looking light bulbs over their head that become dangerously explosive and blow up in Raz's face.
Not what you
Now,
want.
headquarters.
Not what you want,
One
Tom.
of the things that happens in Psychonauts 2 that's most exciting to Raz is that he gets to visit the headquarters of the Psychonauts themselves, which is called the Mother Lobe. This is the center for all Psychonauts activity, and Raz gets to see his old friends Sasha and Mia, who were counselors at summer camp in the first game. He now gets to see where they work. He gets to see their offices, he gets to see their labs, he gets to see their co-workers, other agents in the field, but also he gets to see the admin and maintenance staff as they go about their business and hang out in the cafeteria, and sort of the everyday happenings of what appears to be normal in the Psychonauts world. There are a lot of little hidden pathways and treasures around the base that he can find, side quests and scavenger hunts and things that you might recognize from the first game. There's a lot of characters to meet, a lot of fun things to discover, a lot of secrets about the Psychonauts themselves, and the lore of the founding of the Psychonauts, including the Psychic Six, who were seen on stumps around the campfire in the first game, but now we get to go much deeper into the story of how they played a part in the founding of the Psychonauts, how they were brought together and recruited by Ford Cruller and turned into this amazing international espionage force. One of the things that was so important about the first game was exploring this natural environment around the summer camp, all the little hidden paths and caves where Raz's adventures took place. And so in the second game, we've expanded on that. There's an even bigger natural environment, multiple natural environments around the headquarters that you can explore. There's a quarry outside the Mother Lobe, which is where they dug out these massive deposits of titanium. Titanium, this psychoreactive mineral that amplifies and changes psychic powers. There's lots of secrets around the quarry, lots of abandoned mines and caves and things to explore. And next door to the quarry is an abandoned roadside attraction called the Questionable Area, a sort of power vortex of strange happenings, which is also caused by the titanium deposits in the area. Water flows uphill, animals behave strangely. There's caves dedicated to the mystery of the Sasclops, which is a giant one-eyed being that might have existed and might not have. Here in the Questionable Area, Raz's family is camped out, his entire family, as if to embarrass him in front of his new Psychonauts friends. His family has showed up and they want him back in the circus. It turns out some of his family members, including his own father, have a little bit of psychic power themselves, and they'll be exploring that in Psychonauts 2, and you'll get to find out who put this curse on Raz's family to die in water. The Aquatos have been cursed by a mysterious character to all die in water, and this manifests itself in the form of the hand.
There's a lot of layers to this
which
game
is
that I wasn't
hand
aware
comes
of
out of the
before.
water, which is really just Raz's psychic construct. Raz is so afraid of water because of the curse put on his family that every time he comes near water, this creepy hand comes out and tries to grab him and pull him under, which is all happening inside of Raz's head. In Psychonauts 2, you'll get to find out who put this curse on Raz's family, where it came from, and what he can do about it. The story you uncover about the curse put on Raz's family links back into the story of the foundation of the Psychonauts, and Raz finds out that his family and the Psychonauts family are actually more intertwined than he believed. So there's a lot of mystery to discover for the player and Raz and his family and his friends as they explore the connections between his family and the Psychonauts and what it all has to do with Maligula. Maligula is one of the first villains the Psychonauts ever fought. She's a powerful psychic and she's a mass murderer, and she's been believed to be dead for many years, but there's a lot of unknown things going on behind the scenes and a lot of mysteries and a lot of plots for the player to uncover in Psychonauts 2. So that's it. Thanks for taking this deeper look into Psychonauts 2 with me. The game is coming out August 25th, and you can pre-order now. So I'll stop talking so you can go and do that. Thanks for watching.
Maybe I will. Thanks, Tim. I will admit, chat, I was expecting for there to be more things I could comment on. I feel like I don't want to interrupt the actual commentary, you know? So if I go quiet, I apologize.
Thanks. No problem. Stick together and let's do this.
This is a game I want to try. It
I do not like.
seems to be very much like Left 4 Dead in space.
Your pulse.
This is not good. This is not good.
What if we open the doors and run? Just run. No stopping, no shooting, just straight to the bridge.
Get that fire!
Heavy.
Really? We call them tanks.
I call them brutes. From Latin, brutus.
We'd sound smart calling them brutes.
Eon, you don't want to get in here and help name these?
Nah, I'm good.
Brute!
Not what you want?
The Anacrusis is looking like a game I didn't realize I needed in my life. And here from
Same.
Stray Bombay to tell us more about the Anacrusis is Chet Felisek. Chet, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Now, talk to me about this game, the Anacrusis. What's the concept? How did you come up with this?
So I grew up with late 60s, early 70s sci-fi. I love that stuff, right? Logan's Run,
Yes.
Battlestar Galactica, Space 1999. That wasn't cheesy to me or campy. That was just the way sci-fi was. And so we wanted to set a game in that world, right? We have those cool colors,
love the
cool
outfits.
shapes, fantastical sci-fi weapons and creatures. And then it also lends itself to, we wanted something that was positive about the players, the characters, you're working together. Sure, there's aliens. Sure, you're fighting them. Sure, you're trying to save Earth. But you're doing it in a positive, uplifting way. Yeah, after the pandemic, I don't think I could go back to a dreary post-apocalyptic world. I need something uplifting, and so we wanted to deliver that.
That's awesome. Now, talk to me
I
about
like that
the
design
gameplay.
decision. I'll go with that.
You've said that there's an infinite replayability to this. So how does that factor in?
Yeah, so there's a 4-player co-op. You're playing with your friends, and what we want to do is make sure that it's different every time you're playing it. And so we have a lot of different systems that do that, but underneath it all is the idea of the AI driver. The AI driver is driving everything that's happening in the game with items, where they're placed, what's happening with the creatures, what's happening.
So kind of like
your
the
health
director
kits,
in
your
Left 4
perks,
Dead.
all of those systems are driven off of that. And so what that means is, as you're playing, not only do you have those, hey, this last time we played this, there was nothing here, and this time we're being overwhelmed. And then you also have those peaks and valleys so that you have some downtime, and then you have some really big uptime in it, or a lot of combat happening in it. We're also monitoring how the people are playing. So if you're first time playing and your team isn't doing very well, we'll put health kits right on the main path for you to find. And then if you don't find them at first, we'll spawn a couple more later. But if you're really good, if you're really killing it, well, we might not put anything on the main path. And so if you want to go find your perks, or if you want to go find new weapons, you have to go off that main path and go search for that. And it makes the game just a little bit harder, but in a way more interesting way than just saying, hey, let's double the health of all the enemies.
Right.
And then we do something
I like
we
that.
actually look from session to session as well. So if you play with the same 3 friends every week, and you guys have been killing it for 10 weeks in a row, well, let's mix it up for you. Let's just throw something crazy at you that you've never seen before, and a million aliens. And we can do that because normally when you do difficulty, you've got to be here because you don't know what happened before or after. But here, we have these really big peaks and valleys, so we can bring you to nothing for a little bit, and then have it go crazy.
I love that it's scaling to
I'm not
your,
mad about
basically
that.
Your skill level.
I'm
right?
okay with it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, kind of deeper dive more into the perk system that you're going to have in the game.
So for the perks, we looked at a lot of games where you start with, let's say, a class-based thing. And then, if you're playing with your same friends, well, I'm going to be support, you're going to be carry, someone else is going to be help. Like, we kind of get into a rut of what systems we're playing and how we're playing. And so we want to be able to mix that up so that every time you're playing, you're also kind of choosing your role based on the perks you're getting. So perks come in this thing called a meta compiler. And you have to go find the meta compilers in the world. And once you find one, you'll have from 1 to 3 perks to choose from. And then over time, you're essentially building a deck for your character. And so you might have it where, if you saw in the trailer, there's a pulse, which is kind of like a melee shove. Well, you can invest into that, and you can have one that you can now charge your pulse faster, and now it protects
So there is
your,
a reasonable
around
amount
you.
of
And
character
then
development
it gets
and
more
progression.
powerful, and you can actually do damage with it. So all of a sudden, you went from being a support character playing in the back to leading the charge going forward and knocking down aliens and everyone else blasting them. Or you'll get a bunch of perks that are about investing in one weapon and making it where when you do headshots, it actually does damage to other aliens around. So now you're the sniper hanging back. And so it's really mixing up that kind of experience that you're having. And you'll earn these perks as you play. So the more you play, the more perks you have.
I'm curious.
But
That's
since we
actually
want the
not a
game
bad
to
idea.
always be great to play with your friends, if you've been playing, let's say you play with me. I've been playing 400 hours. You're brand new.
Yeah.
Well, we share the perks. So you get all the perks that I have available to me as well. So that way you get to have that experience of all that craziness in your game as well. Because it's all about having fun with your friends.
Right, the shared experience with your friends. Now, we kind of already talked about the inspirations, like 2000. I looked at that and it was like 2001: Space Odyssey was the first thing I thought of. But let's talk more about the enemies in the game. What was some of the inspirations for that?
So the
I would have thought it
enemies,
felt a bit more
we
man
kind
from
of look
Uncle.
at it of how we want the players to behave as well as feel.
The original.
And so we bring in outside playtesters every
Might be
week.
showing my
They
age
play our
there,
game,
but here we
watch them, and what we'd see is really good teams would stick together really tightly. And even if we send something like the Brood at them that spreads them apart, they'd quickly form back together. So we created something called the spawner.
Yeah.
And this is just a good example of kind of how we approach the design. The spawner you hear off in the distance, and you'll hear it, and you know what it's doing. It's spawning things. It spawns these little turrets that come at you. They're not the worst thing, but they're going to be unrelenting until you kill the spawner. And so you'll be sticking with your team, and you'll be like, oh, wait a minute. If the spawner comes now, and the turrets come, and we've got a guy down, we've got to go over there, I'm not sticking with my team. I'm going to go hunt that thing down. I'm going to go kill it. So you go run off, you kill it, you're feeling good about it, and all of a sudden you realize, wait, where are my teammates? I'm all alone. There's other specials here. Oh, I'm in trouble. And it's trying to create those kind of moments where it's mixing it up, where you always want to have it where it kind of almost takes turns of one player's the last one surviving, they're the last one up, and they're helping everybody else up and get it going. And so really looking at how
So they're building hero moments into the development.
It affects
Okay.
the players.
Bonus
I like
question
that.
for you. What does the anacrusis actually mean?
So anacrusis is a musical term. It means the notes before the song, the little kind of intro. And for this, we have a character, Boris, that you never meet. And the other players just talk about it, because I thought it was fun to have this character that you never really are sure who they are, because it's everyone else describing it. And she named the barge that you're on, that you're launching these missions, the Anacrusis. And her thought there was, this is not the main event. This is not us against the aliens with fighter pilots and everything else. This is just regular people. This is the pre-battle to the battle. This is finding out about these aliens and what just happened.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Again, the Anacrusis, everything that you talked about today, it sounds amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on it. But Chet, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
We've got so much more coming in today's show, including Obsidian Entertainment with Grounded, iLlusions and Let It Roll with Shredders, and 343 Industries with a deeper dive on that incredible multiplayer trailer for Halo Infinite. But first, the original Stalker was one of the most intense and eerie games of its era.
Was it?
Next year, we return to Chernobyl for Stalker 2. And Zach from GSC Game World has a closer look at the game. Let's check it out.
Hi everyone, it's Zach from GSC Game World. It has been several days since
yourself.
the gameplay reveal of Stalker 2. Our game now has a subtitle, Heart of Chernobyl, and a release date of April 28, 2022. By the way, the pre-orders are opened for both PC and Xbox. You're obviously here willing to learn more, so here are several details about Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl you probably didn't know yet. So let's dive a little bit deeper in our trailer. This section of the trailer is a bandit's gunfight on the chemical plant. You can see the actual in-game animations of picking up the weapons and installing modifications on the go. The thing is, you can notice the teaser of a new faction. We are not showing the exact moment right now because we wonder if you can discover it yourself. You may actually recognize the exact location on the swamps. If you played Stalker Clear Sky, you may remember this place. The time did the job, but the tower is definitely still there. Also in this scene, you can see a brand new detector Skiff is using for the artifact hunt. Because of its form, it's called Gilka, which actually means a branch in the Ukrainian. The artifact Skiff is going to collect is called Jelly. In-game, it recovers your stamina. Moving to the Dancing Man scene. Before you ask it, yes, there will be a lot of characters with an interesting fate in the zone.
When you say interesting,
Hideout is located in Chernobyl too. That's a town
I
not
know
so
you don't
far
always
from
mean
Pripyat
good.
you have seen in the gameplay teaser.
Вот это культура! А ты одно и то же по кругу лобаешь. Сам же просто.
The campfires. A small isle of safety in the unwelcoming zone. A place where you can finally have a little rest before another foray. You have seen the campfire during the first trailer in the Rookie village. Of course, it wasn't the only one. The zone is full of dangers and mutants. The monsters are the result of the numerous experiments. We're not ready
It's a
to
weird
show
turning
you all
circle
of them,
again.
so let's stick to the old good bloodsucker for now.
Считаешь, я не думал, как обойтись без его смерти? Она не могла быть свободна, пока он жил. Зато теперь посмотри на нее. Нет, Скиф, я не отдам ее никому. Зона дала мне жизнь, новую жизнь. Жизнь, которую я готов вернуть, если потребуется. Я буду защищать ее. Всегда.
Agreed,
In this
sir.
rooftop
Agreed.
scene, we are truly proud with the quality of the animations. We made a small behind-the-scenes video from our motion capture studio. The face photogrammetry process makes the final result as close to the reality as possible.
Она не могла быть свободна, пока он жил. Я буду защищать ее. Всегда.
The Gauss gun you're seeing in this section is one of the most powerful weapons from the arsenal.
What engine are they making this in? Is this Unreal?
Похоже, пора.
И куда ты теперь?
В Припять.
Moving to the final thing for today, the man at the end of the trailer is Sergei Grigorovich, the creator of the Stalker series.
Удачной охоты, сталкер.
Thanks for joining us
It's a nice
today.
touch.
We can't wait for the moment when the time
It's very
comes
nice
to
touch.
enter the zone on April 28, 2022.
As you just saw, Stalker 2 is shaping up to be something special, and I can't wait to play it next year when it comes to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass on day one. On Sunday, we saw the trailer for A Plague Tale Requiem, the sequel to the award-winning A Plague Tale Innocence. And for those of you who are fans of the original, we've got some good news for you too.
Amicia, I want to see Mommy.
Where
is he?
If history was in your hands, what would you build?
I am down for Age of Empires, but I don't know how much I'm going to play.
The King is back. And here to tell us more about Age of Empires 4 are Adam Ice Green and Emma Bridle from World's Edge. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us on, Paris.
Oh, absolutely. I'm a legacy Age player. I'm excited for this. Now, you had some news at the briefing. Can you kind of talk about that a little more?
Well, I mean, fans got to have their first looks at two more of our launch civilizations, the Abbasid Dynasty and the French.
Yes.
And they bring a lot to the table, totally different ways to play. But I'm really excited to show them those. And then also, people got to see their first taste of naval gameplay, which we haven't shown off at all, except for a little teaser at the end of fan preview.
Paying off that tease. And we also revealed one more of our campaigns, the 100 Years' War, and Joan of Arc made an appearance. We also announced that the game is coming October 28th, and it's coming to Windows Store, Steam, and of course, Game Pass for PC.
Now, earlier you mentioned the two civilizations, the Abbasid Dynasty and the French. Can you kind of go into detail about that?
Sure. Yeah, I guess I'll start. The Abbasid. So the Abbasid Dynasty is this amazing technological powerhouse of a civilization that has a really unique mechanic that we're bringing to them in Age of Empires 4. It's actually unique across all the civs that are in the game, in that they construct this bastion of knowledge called the House of Wisdom, and they can keep upgrading it with different wings, and that gives them a host of incredible technologies that leverage their army, their economy, their resources. But beyond even that, they have an incredible amount of fun units, especially camels. Unique to the civs again, the launch civs for Age of Empires 4 is camel units.
You're right,
These
that's
camels
definitely what Age of
have
Empire needed more of,
amazing,
was camels.
abilities to buff the other units in their armies. And so you have these wonderful diverse mixes where you always want to be throwing different units together, but always including camels for the different kinds of buffs and advantages you can give to your civilization. It's great.
And the French are really, really strong with trade. They've got some great options that are going to make your late game really, really interesting. They have a landmark called the House of Commerce. And for your units, you're going to really want to focus on knights and lancers. Those are your powerhouses. But the French actually made an appearance in the trailer as part of the 100 Years' War campaign. And as you can see, Joan there, I'm actually wearing her around my neck. She's a feminist icon from history. This young woman who led with her convictions and led a battle, and she was a teenager. And so she's beloved. She's in Age 2 in a campaign, and so we know Age fans are going to love seeing her again. And
Let's not get into the
War,
historical.
multiple missions, like the Battle of the 30, are really
You
going to
know,
bring that period of history to life. And all the live
accuracy
action
of that
footage that you
statement.
saw in the trailer on Sunday, that's all from within the game. We have these multiple documentaries that will play between the missions to storytell and
Chat, I'm very sorry. I need to take a short break to deal with the matter. I shall return in a moment. I'm back, chat. How you doing? I had to do that thing where I went to see if there was someone at my door. Turns out there wasn't.
really bring it to life as you journey through the 100 Years' War.
Yeah, taking a completely different approach to how we're telling a story. Matter of fact, I don't think I've seen any game that does what we're doing in terms of how we're showing the story and how we're getting people involved with history. So
it really,
super exciting.
really brings it to life. And I've learned things about English history from these documentaries I didn't learn in school. So they're educating as well as moving the game forward.
That tells you a lot about the British
Now,
education
community
system,
feedback
chat.
is always important in any game, but especially in something like Age. Now, how have you taken some of that feedback into development for Age 4?
So we formed a community council back in 2017. We wanted our community and our players to have a seat at the table for development. We're making the game for them. So they've been hands-on with the game for a really long time and giving us their honest feedback. And we then take that to the game team and they look at making changes based on what they've told us. So they've influenced things from the look of the UI icons, the influence system that's built into Age 4. They've really, really helped us with their viewpoints make the game better. And one thing they really pushed for actually was naval.
Yeah, it's amazing. We actually, if you look at a lot of the data, we see data on all of the Age of Empires games that people play. And naval is one of those things that in Age 2, a lot of people don't use it, which is crazy, right? But if it wasn't there, people would miss it so much. And sometimes we have to ask those hard questions when we're making games.
I can't recall
right?
using naval at all when I played Age 2. But that was
felt weird about. And we went to the
nearly
council
20
and
years
we're like,
ago,
hey,
chat.
Not even
If
the
I'm being
guys don't
completely
play
real
naval
with you.
all the time. Like, do we need it? And they're like, yeah, no, we see your point, but you have to have this.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was a great reaffirmation. And we throw a lot of things like that at our council to make sure that we're making the game that's great for all the different kinds of players that love Age of Empires all over the world.
And now we're heading towards launch.
Yeah.
We're branching out beyond our council. People are going to get hands-on for the first time. So we had a fan preview event back in April, and we looked at the feedback from that and have made changes since then. So, you let us know that you didn't feel like the weapon scaling was quite right. So we've gone ahead and we've improved that.
That is fantastic. Now, you actually hit on something that I wanted to jump into because Age has been around for a while. There's been previous games, but you continue to make content for those.
Holy
So
shit, Chad. Have you
what's
seen the
some of
Destiny
news you can share
toaster?
as far as development with some of the
I don't
legacy
want
Age
it.
games?
Well, we have a new expansion coming in August for Age 2 Definitive Edition called Dawn of the Dukes. And in that expansion, we're going to be adding 2 more civilizations, the Bohemians and the Poles, and 3 new campaigns for the Lithuanians, the Bohemians, and the Poles. And those are great stories about really cool, brother and sister teams that work together to kind of rise up these empires. And I can't wait for people to get their hands on it. And the great thing is that if you pre-order Age of Empires 4, you get that for free. That's part of the deal for pre-ordering Age 4 on the different platforms. And for Age 3, of course, because we don't want to leave them out either. Age 3 Definitive Edition, we're hard at work on an African PDLC with new civilizations and campaigns.
Cool. Yeah.
And I can't wait to show more, but we're not ready to talk about that one just yet.
But if you don't want to miss out, Go to ageofempires.com, become an insider. You get little sneak peeks at things we've got coming and chances to get
I
hands-on
do love
with
a sneak
content
peek
early.
chat.
Now, shifting us back to the present in Age 4, what's some of the things people can expect as we lead up to launch?
Well, we've got a bit of an exclusive for you today.
I
So
like
we're going to name our remaining launch civs and our remaining launch campaigns. We're not going to show them just yet. That'll come closer to launch. But our 2 remaining civilizations are the Holy Roman Empire and the Rus. And the names of our 2 remaining campaigns are the Rise of Moscow and the Mongol Empire.
All that sounds fantastic. Please.
No, I was just going to say I'm so excited. I get all gushing about things like this.
Okay,
We're gonna
I can
have
get
a
behind the
little
Holy
more
Roman
to
Empire.
get information and see more detail on those civilizations and campaigns.
I'm
but,
less interested in the
we've
Mongol
also
Empire.
got a ton of stuff planned. We have a beta that's going to be coming up.
Just 'cause I think-
you can go to
I don't know.
ageofempires.com to sign
I played
up
a lot with
for
them and
be an
Civ,
insider to get into our beta and get a chance to actually get hands-on with the game. And then, of course, again, we're launching October 28th.
Also, like, the Holy Roman Empire is not a...
on Steam,
It's not
on Windows 10, and
historic
on Game Pass for
civilization that I
PC.
feel gets
So it should be
touched on
great
in a lot of
any way you wanna
content,
play.
in a lot of
I'm
games.
really excited.
So I'd be keen to
great,
see more
and
of
I'm
that.
sure
I mean,
Age fans all
the
around
only
world are
game I
really
can really
looking
think
forward
of
to that.
that they're
So,
in,
again,
other than
Adam,
Civ,
thank you so
is
much
they
for
get a
being
very
here.
brief
No,
mention
thank you.
in
Massive battles across
Assassin's
land, air,
Creed
and sea have been a hallmark of the Battlefield
Revelations?
series from the beginning. In this next video,
Yeah.
design director Daniel Berlin will tell us more about what DICE can do when it brings all-out warfare to the world's most powerful console.
Alright, another game I'm not particularly interested in. I mean, it looks stunning. I'm just not into it.
The thing that would really excite players is the introduction of all this cutting-edge technology that we're just infusing into the sandbox. I think just having the comeback of the helicopter on the battlefield, it just introduces a whole new layer to the sandbox. It just gives players so much more tools that makes it more Battlefield than it's been in a very long time. So we really enable our players to be really, really creative with the tools we give them. And that's what Battlefield is kind of all about. Being in a massive, open war setting and being able to say like, hey, there's a problem over there, go solve it. And the players actually choose how
I don't
they
know,
want
that
to
just
solve
feels
that problem,
exhausting, Jack.
and through that process create their own Battlefield moments. So in 2042, you will experience 3 really distinct experiences. The one we're talking about right now, we're talking about today, is the experience that we call the all-out warfare experience. Now, this is the place you go in 2042 when you want to have those classic Battlefield experiences, this massive war where it's, air, land, and sea just coming together in these massive battles. But we've actually made a distinction between 2 separate experiences within the all-out warfare experience, and that's Conquest, which is very much a staple for our franchise. It's something that our fans know and love, and we're just taking the Conquest experience to the max this time around. Conquest is all about the freedom, the access to the sandbox, being able to choose where you fight, how you fight, where you want to go. But it's also experience
With
that
your robot dogs.
will
Nice.
allow players to kind of choose their own pacing. And there's moments in Conquest where it's complete chaos. When a lot of players they just converge on a single point and the chaos goes up to the maximum. But there's also moments within Conquest where, you've just had that big battle and now you've won that battle and you go like, okay, you bring up your map and you have a conversation with your friends and you say like, okay, where do we want to go next? Oh, we need to go over there to that state. Okay, how do we get there? Oh, let's call in a vehicle.
What do you reckon,
Vehicle,
chat? Do we
you can,
play Battlefield?
Call it in wherever you want, and then your friends, you hop into the transport vehicle and you go across the map and you go to a new location where there's a new fight. So Conquest is just that full freedom to the sandbox. And right next to that lives the other experience within All Out Warfare, which is Breakthrough. And this is a significantly more guided experience. It takes you on a journey throughout the entire map. And in Breakthrough, there's an attacker and there's a defender team. And we kind of compress them into fighting head-on in a specific space. So the time to action is short and the level of chaos is really, really high. There's helicopters and there's tanks and there's infantry. There's just everything happening, and it's just complete chaos and
Hovercrafts.
breakthrough. So All-Out Warfare kind
That
of takes
feels
these
like a
two
necessary thing to include.
fan-favorite staple modes, and we make them distinctly lean into their specific strength. And that's on the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, you will actually be able to play.
What a dumb
All-Out
thing to
Warfare
show off,
experiences
throwing
up
an
to
ATV at
128
helicopter.
players, which is a double.
That's what I like about
to
this
what
trailer.
We've done in the past in the franchise, and this is really, you know, you can have those moments when you're playing 2042, when you're sitting in the helicopter and you look down and you just see this, you know, sea of tanks, soldiers, infantry, helicopters, fighter jets just moving in unison, and you kind of get this feeling that you're part of something bigger, like a really, really massive army. And that's the strength of the massive play spaces that we're building. And to be able to really make this play really well, we've altered our way of handling level design. Because it wasn't just as simple as, you know, just making it bigger and then portion the locations out. It doesn't really work that way. So we've leaned into a new type of design mentality that we're calling clustering. Now, what clustering means that you will have a massive battlefield in front of you. But within this massive battlefield, you will have particular clusters of objectives. So the map Hourglass is set in Doha, Qatar, and it is, I'm not going to go into any specifics about exactly how large it is,
pretty
but
big.
it is definitely one of the larger maps that we will have in 2042. It's one of my favorite maps personally because it has some really, really cool, distinct locations within it. Down to the south of the map, you'll have a fully destructible village. And this is a great space for infantry and vehicles alike, because you know as a Battlefield player that infantry is skulking around inside the buildings, but you know when you're in your tank or your attack helicopter, you can just can destroy those buildings and get access to the infantry. And you can go further east and you'll find a bunch of high-rises, skyscrapers. And so there's a whole section there where you can enter the skyscrapers, you can go up to the top of them, you can zip line between the roofs, have fights in between the rooftops. But if you want to change it up even more, you can basically skydive off of the skyscrapers. And if you're playing a particular specialist that has access to a wingsuit, you can actually glide across the entire map space and get yourself all the way over to the stadium, which is on the east side of the map. And the stadium itself, it's a place you go when you really want to just take out your shotgun and have some close quarters combat. So the mentality here of building larger maps, but creating locations within that map where there's a
So kind of like
gameplay.
what I imagine the Warzone mentality is of designing a map.
See the fact that if you want to
Sort of
capture
almost like a
the
battle
entire
royale
stadium,
kind of
it's
design
not just to go
mentality.
there and
Okay.
capture one location.
I'm interested.
You actually have to capture multiple locations within the stadium in order for you to kind of to consider it yours, that your team can actually get benefits from it. So lots of dynamic moments on Hourglass. And if you saw in the gameplay trailer as well, there's a massive wall of sand moving across the entire gameplay space. So what happens when this massive wall comes, of course, it engulfs you in the storm itself. But as it passes by, it leaves the entirety of the map in a different mood, in a different light, and it changes the visibility for the player. And this is a really good time for you to lean into our Plus system, where you have the capability to actually alter the customization on your weapon. But I'd also like to mention, though, that the wall of sand is one thing, right? But there's also the possibility of the tornado.
How much have we messed up the planet by
Tornado is
2042?
this massive disruptor that just comes into the play space, and wherever it goes, destruction follows. It's a massive, moving physical entity that will pick you up, throw you across the map, pull helicopters into it. It's just a crazy, fun physics experience that happens as you play the map. So everything is in the hands of the player. This really is a sandbox. And these moments are in the hands
Literally,
of the player. While in
a
other
box of
games, the
sand.
Battlefield moments are pre-scripted, in our game, they just happen. And they happen differently every single time because it's players controlling what's happening around you. That's something that you only get in Battlefield. And that's why I love Battlefield so much.
It's really the only game that's got that battle royale kind of scale to it.
Epic action at an epic scale
with that
is what we all want
epic
from Battlefield
kind of
2042. And DICE
red versus
is
blue
poised to
kind of
deliver.
competitive
During the
content.
showcase on
I really
Sunday, we announced
thought
an
that there was going to be
exciting
more of a
collaboration
sentence there.
between Rare, Xbox, and Disney with Sea of Thieves, A Pirate's Life, a free update which brings Captain Jack Sparrow and his crew sailing into the Sea of Thieves. Today, we're premiering a brand new trailer showing some of the gameplay
All right.
you'll experience when you team up with
More
Jack Sparrow
pirate
for
stuff.
this all-new adventure. I can't wait to be a part of this crew. Let's take a look.
You will always remember this is the day your crew was joined by Captain Jack Sparrow. To the Sea of Thieves. Quick as you like. Chop, chop.
It's time to bridge the worlds and take our rightful places as lords of the sea.
Now we have awoken, and we are hungry.
Perhaps I'll take ye on the grand tour of me fallen kingdom.
I was starting to think you'd taken a tumble. Not everyone's as steady on their feet as I am. This is the first place I've found where everyone appreciates my uniqueness. They're coming aboard! Keep your crusty claws off me!
Davy Jones wishes you destroyed, and I shall oblige him.
What is
Nice
that
of you.
infernal noise?
That's Captain Infernal Noise to you, mate!
Sparrow! Destroy that statue, and there'll be the double to pay.
Enough of this! Hear me, my daughter! Come more than me!
Ooh. Giant boss creature.
Whatever
Okay.
they've told you, it's not true. Unless it's flattering, in which case, it's all true, but they left out the best bits. Savvy?
Hey everyone, Joni, executive producer on Sea of Thieves here. So we've shown you the cinematic trailer, we've shown the gameplay trailer, but there's still more to come. So on Sunday at 11 AM Pacific, 2 PM Eastern, 7 PM UK and 8 PM in Europe, we have the Sea of Thieves A Pirate's Life showcase. So this is a real deep dive just into all of the details.
There's more,
behind this
chat.
collaboration with Disney. How did we bring Jack Sparrow into our world?
There's
How did we
more.
capture his humor and his charm and all of the kind of characters that are coming in as a
They're
part
just
of this.
doing
You're gonna get a
constant
first look at
E3.
A couple of tales and actual gameplay of those. We're going to get some
What's up with
behind-the-scenes
that?
interviews with our development team, and also just to chat with us and with Disney just about how this collaboration
I mean,
came
like,
to be. So it's going to be amazing. I hope everybody tunes in.
A
So
plus
see
for
what's
video games. But when are they going to stop having press conferences, you know? When is that going to happen? I just feel like maybe we've had enough of press conferences. I'm starting to feel maybe like Microsoft might have hired Symphony Sanders' character from Welcome to Night Vale. You know, the old mayor. Love the press conference. That's a really cool joke. Give me like a like down below the video if you're a Night Vale fan and you got that sick reference. Flight Simulator looks great, okay? I think we can all agree this. I don't know how much more of it I really need to see in my life, though. That is definitely the fourth bridge. That is the fourth bridge. We've already covered this. It's quite funny. I don't know how much you know about Flight Simulator. So it's all based on like Microsoft's satellite imagery, using like their map software and everything, right? That's how they got like a 1-to-1 scale planet Earth, basically. But like, because it was sort of algorithmically generated, so many like landmarks in the world were just kind of generated as big tower block kind of things, you know, like big high rises or whatever, skyscrapers. And so the Wallace Monument in Stirling, which is a big kind of obelisk like tower, just looked like a giant block of flats in the middle of nowhere up a hill for months till they fixed it. I don't even know if they have fixed it. I kind of want to have a look into that. I will check that out later. I think we're just in the trailer montage part of the show.
I'm ready for the danger zone. But we'll get to that in just a second. When Microsoft
Calling
Flight
Kenny
Simulator
Loggins.
launched last year on PC, reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by the stunning visuals and the depth of simulation. Joining us is Jorg Newman, the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Hi, Jorg.
Jorg, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
Good to meet you. Those are cool glasses. You get your jacket.
Yeah, I got my jacket as well. So you had some announcements this Sunday about Microsoft Flight Simulator. Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, it was super cool. We announced that Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming to Xbox Series X and S. And the franchise has an awesome history on the PC. It's going back all the way to 1982. You know, it predates Office and Windows. And when we launched last year, it was on the PC
so
only,
insane to
it was
me.
a really warm welcome from simmers and from
That's
press
so
and from
insane.
people who have never flown flight sim before. So we're super excited that it comes to console now. And so for the first time in the history of the franchise.
So I've been playing Flight Simulator since last year on PC. I have a 3080, but it is now coming to the Xbox Series X and S. What sorcery are you doing to get this running on both of those consoles? I have to know.
I think it's a combination of two things, really. First off, it's a super powerful console.
Yes.
And then we are really using the Microsoft tech stack in an interesting way. So as you know, Series X and S is like a beast. The GPU is awesome, super powerful CPU with multiple cores. RAM, fast RAM, we can run in 4K. That's super important for planes.
I wonder if you
sit
could
there
like
in the cockpit, you need to be able
disassemble
to read all the text. SSD,
Series
fast
X,
internet. So it's basically the
take the
equivalent of a
components
really
and turn it
powerful
into a powerful
high-end
PC.
And on top of that, on Flight Sim, we're using
You reckon
the
that's a thing?
Microsoft stack a lot. Like we have 2.5 petabyte of data.
Not saying I'm gonna try.
It's 1.6 million CDs sitting on Azure. And we're
There's the
basically
bridge
streaming
again.
that down as you go. And we also do machine learning algorithms up there, and that is how we build procedurally in runtime 1.5 billion houses and 2 trillion trees. So it's a combination of those two things. Super powerful console, super good use of the Microsoft tech stack. You get it to work on console.
That is fantastic. Now, with
It's
Xbox
impressive.
Game Pass and with it coming to console, you're going to expose Flight Simulator to a lot of new gamers, right? So what are some of the things that you're going to do to make it more accessible to a wider audience?
So you're exactly right. We had a little bit of that last year when we launched because we knew the flight simmers, that's their hobby. They came in, they know everything about aviation, they know exactly what to do. But we had a lot of people come in through Xbox Game Pass on PC and basically tried for the first time. So even on the PC launch, we did a bunch of work on onboarding with tutorials. We gave some assistances, but now for this Xbox version, we're actually doing a ton more. And I actually brought you a little video. And so there's 5 things we did. The first thing, if you're becoming a pilot, the first thing you do is
This is something
you do
I'm curious
a discovery flight. It's basically, you know, you have a flight instructor next to you. He does most of the work, he or she. And you get to steer the plane and feel really good about yourself, right? And so we said, we need to recreate that. So we picked 10 places on Earth, like some of the most compelling places, like Mount Everest, or Rio de Janeiro, or New York, or the pyramids. And we basically put you in a plane, it's ready to go, it's beautiful weather, and all you need to do is fly and have fun. And it really is an onboarding experience, is super good. And then we noticed on the PC side that people really love to explore the world in Flight Sim. I did that. I've spent like a month in South America, and I've never been to South America, and it was super cool. But it was only visuals. And you know, so you didn't quite understand how everything fits together. So now we added labels, and Bing has all these labels basically for every POI, like famous place or river or mountain. So we have all those now, and we put that into the world map. And even if you go down and you try to plan
Like a
out your
little
flight, you can now
history
see
tour.
all the cities around you, and it's totally transforms the experience. Same in game. So we now have labels in game where you see, you know, here's Everett. Over
You
there
could make
is,
yourself
you know,
a little
whatever,
tour
you learn
of
about the
historical
planet more, and
sites.
it's a much more enriching
That's
experience.
cool.
Just
Okay, that's
experiencing
cool.
the planet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the next thing we did is that we revamped the tutorials. We wanted to basically smoothen out the onboarding experience. We wanted to retain knowledge more. So we had 8 tutorials on the PC. Now we have 22. Oh, wow. And they're shorter, they're much more focused, and we have a performance indicator system. So basically it rates you and how you did, and you get a score. And honestly, I can speak for myself. Like, I'm totally motivated to get better and better and better. And with that, you learn more and more how you really fly. So it's been super successful, and I think it's going to help newcomers a lot. The next feature that we have is it's called Flight Assistant, which I use a lot. It's basically, so just imagine you fly over New York and you see, you want to actually just look at the landscape and look at the city, but you know eventually you want to go to Brooklyn Bridge. So on the flight instructor, you can now, flight assistance, you can now click on, go to Brooklyn Bridge, and the AI, almost like a co-pilot next to you, will fly you to the Brooklyn Bridge, and you can just look around and have an interesting time. Same with airports, which are sometimes challenging for people. Like, you can click on the airport and say, please land me at, say, Newark Airport. And then the last thing is, if you really get yourself in trouble, like you stall out the plane or something like that, you can actually now click into, you can now go and basically say recover. And it's almost like the pilot is sitting next to you. It's super helpful. I think that people will love it.
Okay,
and the
that's
last
pretty
thing
helpful.
was, you know, we learned that everybody's good taking off, but some people are hesitant to land, specifically when you look at like big international airports and they seem scary and you need to talk to the air traffic
Can
controller
relate.
and all that.
That's
Super
the one
technical.
thing that's really
So
terrifying
we added
about
a
it.
new feature called Land Anywhere. Just let them land anywhere. And then when you do that, the first thing you see is 71% of the planet is water.
Yes.
So we added basically floats to a bunch of our planes, and you can land everywhere now in the ocean or in rivers or wherever. Same with snow. So we have skis on our planes now, and so you can go to the polar regions, mountaintops, or when it's winter.
That's
because we have
amazing.
winter, when it's snowing.
Wow, okay.
You can now land anywhere. So
They
I think
really have
those
thought of
five
everything,
things
chat.
in combination will really make it easier for people who have never been in a flight sim, because it's, you know, we
I'm
as
kind of a
made decision
believer.
not to dumb down the flight sim. It's not easier. It's not gamified.
Right.
Like we gave assistances to help you learn how to actually fly a plane. I think we're going to achieve that.
So one thing on PC is there's a ton of flight accessories that you can use as far as various peripherals and controls. What are you going to be able to bring to the console that can somewhat replicate that experience?
Totally, yeah. So a good news story. So there's two really good flight sticks already on the console. It's the Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS 1, if you have that. And then there's also the HOTI HOTAS flight stick. And so we fully support those two. And then we worked with all the main top-notch.
So that's good. You're going to have HOTAS support on console. That, I think, is what's really going to hold back a lot of people's whether or not they would have HOTAS support.
We have the software to have a full core sim.
HOTAS, if you're not in with the parlance of flight sim technology, is a hands-on throttle and stick. So you have a throttle control in one hand, and you have basically a flight stick in the other, and it's a more accurate representation of what a plane is supposed to fly
like. Dream come true. If you think about entertainment and the franchises that celebrate aviation, you will actually come to Microsoft Flight Simulator and Top Gun, and it's a perfect marriage. So I can't say that
at the same time, though,
because the movie obviously is, you know, keeps everything's under wraps. But if you watch the trailer,
kind of just want to be able to play in a gamepad.
F/A-18s, and there's an aircraft carrier. There might be another plane. And then I can say is we're going to go fast, like really fast, and we're going to be in the danger zone.
That is going to be great. Really looking forward to that. Now, as we wrap this up, there's not much else you can say about the Maverick expansion pack, but what else can people expect from Flight Simulator in the near future?
A lot. So ever since launch, we said we're going to launch and have a new update, like a big, meaningful update every single month. And we launched 9 months ago, and we had 9 updates. So we have something that's called World Updates, where we just pick a zone on Earth, like the United States or Japan or like England and Ireland, and we make that really better. Like we get the the best possible satellite imagery. We create an elevation map that basically makes the mountains look better. We create 3D cities. Like after launch, we launched London and Paris, and we also make missions. So we celebrate the planet, like with these updates. And we're just going to go around the planet. We're shipping 2 more this year and 6 more next year, and then. We also have something called sim updates, simulation updates, where we work with the manufacturers of planes, with the flight sim community out there that knows tons about everything, and also with real-world pilots. And we're basically making the sim better and better. The goal is to make the ultimate sim. Yeah. It's the perfect thing, totally authentic. And then on top of that, you should expect the unexpected. Just like with Maverick, which I don't think people really saw coming, there will be more of that. And I think all I can say is
you're right. I don't think we did see that coming.
And the simmers, both their hearts pounding. So keep watching the skies.
That is awesome. Now, Again, I'm so excited that more people are going to get to play Flight Simulator. I've been playing it on PC. I love it. I highly recommend everyone do the flight from LA to Paris. It's really good, very cathartic.
It's a long flight.
As we get out of here, I want to thank you.
Kind
so
of wanted
much for
to.
taking some time
You
to
know,
talk
that's the
about
thing.
Flight
Like,
Simulator.
okay.
Can't wait for the expansion.
Real
Thank you so
talk,
much.
chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
I've got Game
Still to
Pass.
come, we have Grounded, Shredder,
Do
and
I-
of course, Halo Infinite. But first, one of the best PC
Do
games
I
of
just
2020
live
was
stream a
Hades,
bank
and
long
it's got
flight?
a ton of awards to prove it. Here's a closer look at what we can expect from Supergiant Games later this year on Xbox Series X and S.
All right. Listen here, you thirsty fucks.
Hades, our Game of the Year winning roguelike dungeon crawler, is coming soon to Xbox, and I want to introduce you to some of the gods, ghosts, and
This is
monsters you'll
why I
meet
know
in
you're
our
here
rendition
for.
of the ancient Greek underworld. You don't need any prior interest in Greek myth to get into Hades, but as you play, maybe you'll get to wondering how much of this stuff comes from mythology. The answer is a whole lot. Greek myth is filled with wild, fascinating, often contradictory stories of these larger-than-life characters. The Olympians are a big, complicated family, always bickering and always pushing each other, and their portrayals in classical mythology inspired our portrayals in Hades.
That's putting it timidly.
Let's start with Hades himself.
What is it now? I've a mountain of infernal parchment work.
He's often relegated to the role of villain in many modern adaptations of Greek myth, but in classical mythology, he's a complicated guy, and much more principled than some of his brothers or sisters. He's so fascinating, we made a whole game about him. As the god of the dead, Hades has an imposing reputation to live up to, so he even has a monstrous pet in the three-headed hound of hell, Cerberus.
In case you're wondering, by the way, yes, you can pet Cerberus.
Crystallized how we wanted to portray the
There it
gods
is.
in Hades, that despite being immortal and all-powerful, they're not so different from the rest of us. Though, let's not forget Zagreus. We've heard from many players who figured Zagreus was a god of our own creation. After all, who's ever heard of Hades having any kids? But according to some ancient sources, he did.
Greetings, Father. My ransacking was a delight, thank you for asking. So I'll just be on my way again.
In classical mythology, Zagreus is a little-known chthonic god, meaning a god of the underworld, sometimes associated with Dionysus, the god of wine. But in other cases, he is associated with Hades. How could Hades have a son nobody knows about? How does he fit into the myths we do know of Hades? We were so drawn to answering these questions that they form the basis for the entire story of this game. If you're the prince of the underworld, who do you get as your personal trainer? That would be Achilles, a near-invincible warrior in his day, once called the greatest of the Greeks.
Good to see you, lad. Despite the circumstances, remember your training out there. The pain of death is but another obstacle.
Hades takes place after his untimely demise during the Trojan War, once he's had a lot of time to reflect on his life choices. Achilles lived in glory, so he's got an okay gig in the afterlife, but some wretched souls end up in a really bad spot in the underworld. And for better or worse, they get to meet Megara.
Ever stubborn, aren't you? Maybe my whip might make you reconsider whatever it is that you're attempting here.
She is one of the three Fury sisters tasked with torturing some of the absolute worst souls for all eternity. And in our game, she's also tasked with making sure Zagreus doesn't make it out of the underworld. These two have a lot of history, and since the story of Hades keeps moving forward each time you play, the more you run into Megara, the better you'll get to know her. There's also Thanatos.
Death approaches.
He may decide to drop in on you
Oh,
when
wow.
he isn't busy whisking the
Okay.
souls of the recently departed to the underworld.
Thought you could just get away from me, did you?
He is the personification of death, according to Greek myth, though represents more of a peaceful death than, say, the kind that happened a lot during something like the Trojan War. So even though he can seem a little sinister at first, in the spirit of the mythology, we wanted our Thanatos to have a gentler side. Thanatos has a couple of brothers in Hades, such as Hypnos here, the personification of sleep.
Paul says here one of the wretched thugs got you. Too bad.
When he's not dozing on the job, Hypnos can comment on every single possible way you can die in this game, of the dozens and dozens of different possibilities.
There's a lot of
Where
ways
did
you
all
can
these
die.
gods of the underworld come from anyway? According to the Theogony, an ancient Greek creation myth by Hesiod that introduces all the gods and their ancestors, many of the chthonic gods came from Nyx, the personification of night.
Darkness guide you, child. You have outgrown this house. Of that I am now certain. Should you return again here, I shall keep you safe.
She is a primordial goddess, meaning she is much older even than Hades or the Olympians. And in our game, she has an important role in the underworld, not the least of which is helping you unlock some of your hidden power. There are 30 different characters to meet and grow closer to the more you play Hades, and we hope you enjoy getting to know them all. Some of them feel
But
truly
more importantly,
ancient
you
and
get to
godlike.
pet the dog.
Some are funny, some are scary. We found them incredibly inspiring and hope you do too, once you get to meet everybody when Hades comes to Xbox One and Series X on August 13th.
Yeah, I've been waiting to play Hades for ages, so I'm glad that now is my opportunity is finally here. Sable looks great. I might play that live as well. And I bet this is going to get me copyright flagged again. Let's mute this section just now, chat. Just because I know I'm going to get copyright flagged if I don't. And I really do not have the time to sit here and edit another live stream just to get rid of the copyrighted material. I really need to get a hotkey actually set up on my mixer for that, but I haven't got around to it yet. Atomic Heart looks weird. I'm not sure about it yet. Definitely gotta play Hello Neighbor. I feel like it might be a fun game with friends, though. That's great. Just put the audio on. I'll just edit it out later. It's fine, chat. Things I do for you.
Okay, this is good. This is good. This is really good. Holy sluthering whipple.
Medieval Dynasties on Game Pass now. Okay. I've been meaning to play that. Chat, I love video games. I just can't wait to play more video games. Honestly, chat, like, get yourself Game Pass. I'm not the kind of person who's just going to tell you to buy something, but get Game Pass. Just do it. It's worth it. If you play PC, if you play Xbox, it's worth the money. You just get so much out of it.
Here to tell us more about the Grounded update are Adam and Eric from Obsidian Entertainment. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, it's a real honor.
No, absolutely. Love Grounded, love everything that you guys have been doing with it. Now, my first question is this mushroom system. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so that's one of the big things for the Shroom and Doom update is mushrooms. We're really changing how the yard is with mushrooms. Every mushroom that you see in the yard is now harvestable, which is really cool. So the small ones, the big toadstools, the ones that you find in caves, now those were present in the yard before, but now you can actually harvest them and get mushroom stuff out of them.
Mushroom stuff.
The next kind of part of that is that we're adding a couple base building elements like mushroom bricks.
Yeah.
So you have to take all those mushrooms that you find, and then you have to grind them up in a grinder, which is a new building, and then you have to take them to your oven, which is another new building that we're adding, and bake the mushroom stuff into bricks. And then
Kingdom
with the mushroom
chat.
brick buildings, there's a whole host of new options for
You
base
can
builders.
build your own
And
mushroom
it's more fortified
kingdom.
walls, and a bunch of other options, so you can build a cool big castle.
Oh, that's really cool. Now, we saw the Brood Mother, so we could bring in bosses into Grounded. What can you tell me about that? What does that mean for the direction of the game as we move forward?
Yeah, so the Broodmother is our first boss.
Yeah.
So we actually launched with the Broodmother, and we didn't really feel it hit the right mark. So we took the Broodmother out, and we wanted to spend a lot of time making it a really memorable boss fight. So we put a lot of development effort behind the Broodmother, and it's going to really feel like a big, huge fight and a memorable one. There's a lot of kind of cool things with it. I don't want to spoil everything. I want players to kind of experience it for themselves. But it definitely is something that we want players' feedback to see, like, what do they like? What do they not like? How is the challenge? We want to make it really challenging and have a good reward for defeating the Broodmother. But is it too hard? We'd like to know that. So for future development on Grounded, like, we want to make more bosses. And so we want to get all that feedback to improve the system.
Now, you actually bring up a great point about community, but I'll put a pin in that and come back to it in a second. So I know you don't want to spoil anything about the Broodmother, but is there any tips you can kind of give people ahead of time on what they can do to survive that encounter?
I would definitely say that you would need to make sure you have the highest tier armor and gear up really well for this fight, because it is going to be difficult. And then you also want to have the right mutations equipped as well. If you're playing with your friends, it might be good for one of your friends or yourself to use the brand new crossbow we're going to put into the game, so you can have some ranged DPS while someone else like face tanks the Broodmother. So it's going to be pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So again, going back to community, I know you love getting feedback about Grounded, obviously starting as an early access game, but what are some of the things that you're looking for as far as in this update? What was something that you got feedback-wise from the community that you put in this update?
Yeah, so there's it's one thing that we love working with community. So that's something that we as developers we love just hearing what people have to say about the game, and we're continually developing it with the community. So there's a lot of new things in our new update. One of those things is flipping buildings, and that's one thing that we're really like.
I'm blinded by a killer.
Just adding like those little features. Another one is just sprinting up ladders, which is something that like. Just hearing people how they interact with ladders and adding a sprint mode. The other one is one of our funnier features that we're adding is sitting in chairs. Yeah. So it's something that a lot of people really
That is
wanted.
apparently something people really wanted in this game.
First phase of pets in the game, so we're going to start with aphids, so you'll be able to tame an aphid, run around the yard with the aphid, but you also got to make sure you protect your aphid, because accidents can happen in the backyard.
Oh, there's one other thing too, achievements. So we're really excited to announce that we have achievements in Grounded, and that's purely based on everyone's feedback. Everyone's been wanting achievements, and so we're finally adding them to the game.
That's really good. Now, again, sticking with this, the topic of community. So this was an early access game, and it sounds like pretty much the foundation of what Grounded is was built off of community feedback. So how does that process work internally for you as far as people submitting like, hey, I want to sit, I want achievement pets. Like, how does that whole process work?
So we have a lot of like avenues where we gather feedback from the community. So we do weekly developer streams where chat can ask a bunch of questions when we have Adam on or other developers or myself, and we'll gather feedback in sessions there. And then our main source of feedback is through our official Discord, Grounded the Game. And I use a series of bots to gather a bunch of feedbacks from the players, and then from there, me, Adam, a couple members of the team, and also from the community team get together, and we have a weekly meeting going over all the suggestions and kind of prioritizing what will work and what we
That's really cool, like getting direct feedback via Discord using bots.
Excellent. Well,
I'm guessing they're just like spidering some of the text.
Thank you so much for taking some time to come talk to me about this new update for
pretty
Grounded. Cool. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to get to sit, I guess, right? Yep. So that's great.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It's almost time for a closer look at the multiplayer trailer for Halo Infinite. But first, it's time to see what the snow, the slopes, and the powder spray look like when powered by Xbox Series X and S. This is Shredders.
Hey
Shredders
there,
looks like
welcome to
a
the stream where you'll get an extra glimpse on our snowboard game that's called Shredders. I'm Dirk van Welden, project lead at Foam Punch.
Hello, this is Marcus Foshmo, tech lead on Shredders and Foam Punch.
Yeah, you've probably seen our trailer at the Xbox event. We've been tinkering on this game for a while now, and while it's still in development,
it's got that like following camera that reminds me of a bit like the skate games.
I can actually spawn wherever
so it's got that vibe where it feels like a snowboarding film, which is really nice. I like it.
We've been working on. This mountain resort is called Frozen Wood. It's inspired by some of the resorts in the French Alps where I've been snowboarding a lot. It has these cozy parks, side kickers, half pipes, really big rails, a lot of features in there, way more than you would expect in a normal mountain resort. But hey, this is a video game and we want as many features as possible. So yeah,
we
like
could
I
have been
said,
super
this is
realistic,
completely open, and you
but
can
we
go
decided we
snowboarding
wanted giant
anywhere you like.
rails.
You can do some missions. There's like
Video
a story
games,
evolving
chat.
around the main
Video
character
games.
that wants to participate in a kick-ass invitational border cross event. We can also just cruise around and find some nice lines with a good flow, like for example here in this pillow-like environment that was shown in the trailer. Or you can go up there, like take some huge kickers and big rails at the big park. And just look how big this mountain range is. Like we've got space for industrial areas and street areas. There's backcountry, high mountain riding. There's even an old Italian looking village you can shred. A lot of these locations have been inspired by events happening all over the world and snowboarding movies that
These
inspired
guys were
us
just
these
like,
past years.
we want to take
kind of
all
a
the
tribute
places we
to
love to snowboard in real
Also,
life
anywhere
and put
you
them in a
go,
video
you can
game.
always ride
And I
the
respect
golden hour
that.
due to our real-time
You know?
riding engine.
We just want to shred
Having
some
a
fat
fun, realistic
Alps.
environment is nice, but it's not fun without nailing the riding itself, right?
Yeah, so for the actual snowboarding, a big inspiration for us all, I think, has been pro riders, snowboard movies, and all the crazy stuff that they do on a snowboard. And of course, ourselves riding in real life and just having fun and being creative on a snowboard. That's something that we want to bring into the game. Conceptually, we're trying to keep the convention of one stick for the board and one stick for the body, and directly map that onto the snowboarder. So at any point you should get a physical or animation response as soon as you're touching those sticks. And it gives you a lot of freedom in your play.
What I really
so
want
you
to
can
see
choose
is like
to
a
be
really
smooth
big
and lazy,
wipe.
or if you are more like fast and aggressive, or you can change up your style however you want. You want
Like
the
that.
motions kept fluid,
That's exactly what I wanted to
stylish,
see,
while
chat.
still being very reactive. So that's a big challenge, and we had to create a complete animation system dedicated just for this. And here you can see the board interacting with the snow. He puts some weight into his turn, and he really digs in those edges into the snow for a clean carve. Or you can just use the board stick here to speed check, to line up for a feature. But you can also use both of the sticks combined for even greater control. Yeah, like here you can see him balancing on the tail of the board. This is called buttering. And from this stance, you can also start tricking just as in normal riding. So for the trick system, we're trying to give as much control as possible to any trick you've seen in a movie or any crazy trick that you can imagine, while still making it look great. Every grab you can do, you can also...
Yeah, I think I said this during the stream on Sunday, right? So there's two big extreme sports games coming out right now. Shredders and there's Riders Republic, right?
So you keep spinning at that high rate.
Riders Republic is like an old school SSX game, like tricky. And Shredders is a lot more like Skate and Tony Hawk. You know? It's just a lot more realistic. So it's going to be great because everyone's going to get something they love.
Upon us. A new generation built to fight. Together, we are unstoppable. Are you ready?
Boom. This really is going to be the year of the grappling hook. They're in Battlefield. They're in Halo. Love that.
Hello, let's do some damage.
Ah, that's Erica's voice.
Skill acquired.
That sounded really creepy. Erica Ishii is having like the best year of a voice actor.
Claim the enemy flag.
That's her
Return
again.
to base.
So like, voices a new character in Apex. Has a role in Marvel's Avengers. Has a role in this as one of the AIs. Just loads of cool. She's having a good year. I'm proud.
Flag is ours.
I feel like she's one of these people that like.
Please call at your earliest convenience.
She feels like one of the people I didn't necessarily discover, but I feel like I became a fan of her because she was cool. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm at. I've got like big hipster energy with her. Okay, she.
Now,
Maybe I'm
show
wrong.
me what you can do.
Maybe I'm super late to the party. I don't know. I know I'm talking over all the good Halo, but like the visuals tell you everything, right? So yeah,
I am
that's
so
a cool thing
excited
as well.
to have Tom,
The multiplayer
Alex,
is going to be
and
free to
Quinn
play,
from 343
and then it's just
Industries.
like the
Gentlemen, thank
game,
you for being
the
here.
campaign or whatever that's going to be
Now,
on.
I've watched this
the Up by
multiplayer
the game or
trailer
whatever.
numerous times, and I want to see some specific moments from it so we can break it down. So can we roll the trailer to 15 seconds in, and let's talk about a new character.
A new day is upon us. A new generation built to fight. Together, we are unstoppable. Are you ready?
All right, now who is this character? She looks like she's in charge.
Your senses are right there. She's very much in charge. That's Commander Laurette. She's in charge of the Spartan Academy, which is the kind of contextual wrapper that the whole multiplayer
It's not the
universe
Kappa what he
lives in.
used.
She is basically training the new generation of Spartans to, become better, and that's really where everything wraps around. I really love this character, and then what's cool is not only is it kind of the contextual wrapper for the game, but it's also we have a whole suite of academy features, we call them, where there's a tutorial that teaches the players the fundamental basics of the game. There's weapon drills that let you practice with every weapon that exists in the game and improve your skills with those. And then there's a whole thing we call training mode, which lets you play against bots on any map, basically, in the game, and lets you experiment with the toys and kind of learn the flows of everything. So we really want to bring players on board with the game, and again, under her orders and her charge.
Now, I want to go to 50 seconds in the trailer because there was a lot of action going on, and I want to check that out.
There's a lot of action. I'm guessing they brought back the tactical abilities as well. Let's just say you got the grappling hook and whatever.
No scope.
And the Forerunner weapons is back as well.
Killing spree.
Now, you may have noticed I sat up in my chair a little bit on that one because there was a lot going on there. So please, if you can break that down, let me know what we were seeing.
There's a lot to break down. I don't know if we got enough time to get all the way into it.
Yeah.
But some of the things that I really love when I look at that trailer is that first sequence where the player, they have the bulldog shotgun, they're running through, shotgunning enemies, they grab the commando off the rack, put some shots in, low sensor, like there's all sorts of different things that the player is interacting with, and that's the sandbox. That's what we call the sandbox, the toys that is at the disposal for a player's hands. And we just really love that moment in the trailer where they have the grapple shot, they look up, grapple the ceiling, and then in midair, no scope snipe an enemy, come all the way down, back whack a foe, and then the rest is history as you just see what happened in that trailer. But that's just some of the stuff that players can do, and that's actually the game. That's not just a movie for cinematic experience. Like that is the game that if players are good enough, put in time, they can actually do the things that you see in that trailer.
Yeah, and few things are more important to Halo multiplayer than like interacting with the sandbox and combining it, picking it up off the map and combining it into awesome play styles. So what we did was every sandbox item in the game, when it spawns, it's spawning on an object in the map, so you can see where those things can be found. And then it also tells you the respawn time of that item, when it's going to come back. And you always know, I can go grab that commando over at this spot like that guy did. So, and then when the players, accrue all those awesome items and do awesome things, you heard the return of Jeff Steitzer, the multiplayer announcer, shouting out medals. So we always want to give players medals when they do really cool
The
things.
OG right
So you
there.
heard some there, and you'll hear some later on in the trailer.
Oh, that's awesome. See, when I watch
man
that,
Lord
to me, that's
Shaxx
Halo.
wants to
That's
be.
Halo to me. I absolutely love that. Now, let's skip ahead a little bit more into the trailer to 57 seconds. I heard a voice, so I want to know what this voice is. Let's see it.
Hello. Let's do some damage.
Yeah, so that is the player's personal AI. So in Halo 5, there was a squad leader that announced, when weapons are going to come up and other things going on in the match. And in Infinite, we have the player, like Chief has Cortana, they have a personal AI in their helmet that is kind of telling them these things. And it's also another way that players can show their personality in their characters. So there's multiple personalities and characters for the player to choose, so that the right AI is in their helmet, helping them out in combat.
I want to skip ahead a little further here because I think I might have saw a big team battle. So let's go to a minute 40 and check that out.
Skewer acquired.
Grapple jet.
Claim the enemy flag. Return it to base.
Must be a big team battle. The only thing quite that chaotic.
Ordnance drop inbound. The flag is ours. Please haul at your earliest convenience.
Please haul ass at your earliest convenience.
That looked like big team battle to me. What's coming new? What are we going to do in big team battle in Infinite?
I mean, it's not even just that. I mean, it actually opens with actually a 4v4 with a vehicles map called Behemoth at the beginning. So we actually are bringing vehicles back into the 4v4 arena. But then, yes, it definitely transitions into the 4v or the 12v12 actually BTB part of the game, where we're actually making it a bigger team battle this time. Really wanting to index into the battle fantasy with the more players, where instead of like vehicles just spawning around the map, we have pelicans drop them off. We have ordnance pods that drop in new weapons. And inside of that whole time, you have the battle commander, Lorette, talking in your ear, giving you orders and trying to kind of encourage you to play around, but really just bringing the whole sandbox and the play style around this whole battle experience that we're building.
Yeah, Tom brings up some good points there of Commander Lorette, and this you've got your commander on the comms, and then you've got the pelicans dropping vehicles and items off. You got drop pods, everything. It just is like this theater of war that this time around it is this 12v12 bigger team battle, if you will. And just that ending segment, which is like a capture the flag match, is just so beautiful and awesome, where you've got the Pelican drop the Banshee off, teams fight over it. You and your teammate are just making a beeline for the Banshee. Your teammate gets picked off by the sniper, and you're like, oh no, and then you get the skewer, take that sniper out, jump into the Banshee, and you hit the jets and fly up into the sky and go for the enemy flag. That to us is what is so exciting about this version of Big Team Battle, with all of the toys, all the vehicles, the modes coming back, the maps, the brand new maps that you see there. I mean, it's going to be an amazing experience.
Yeah, trust me, I cannot wait to get my hands on it for myself. But let's move on. I want to go to 208 in the trailer because I think I saw a samurai. So let's check that out. Let's go to 208 in the trailer.
Now, show me what you can do.
Okay, so I guess next will be a ninja because that was definitely a samurai. So kind of talk about that. So we're going to start seeing some more customization with the armor coming in Infinite?
I mean,
that armor set looks pretty cool.
Spartan armor, and so it'll be.
You just heard words. Give me the violence.
Free in the first season, which is super cool. Players will be able to equip it.
Mate.
Gain more armor pieces and customization.
So much violence.
Across
I
the
cannot
season.
wait.
And then we actually have more of this stuff kind of coming down the line. There's actually some really cool ideas that we're seeing in that are
Violence and samurai.
So there'll be a lot of
What
other
more do you
cool
want?
armors besides just the really core Halo Spartan armors. There'll be some other different kind of twists and things for players to play with.
Awesome. Look, now before we get out of here, first of all, I want to thank all of you for being here to talk about Halo Infinite. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my hands on it and play it. But before we do leave, is there anything else that you want to bring up and let fans out there know about?
Well, I'm excited for people to actually get their hands on it like yourself. So, I mean, if people sign up on our Halo's Insiders program, we have in the summer, we have a a technical preview that we're going to be launching, and so people to finally put their hands on the sticks. And I'm just really excited for players to actually.
Yeah, I'm signing up for that.
Yeah, and then on
signing
launch
up for
day,
that.
Halo Infinite multiplayer is free to play, which is new to the franchise. The team is super excited to hopefully bring in, you know, all sorts of fans that have potentially never experienced the franchise or haven't played it in a long time to just try it out. Come in and try it out with your friends.
Me, with my buddies, if I have some friends out there that haven't played Halo before, I'm like, well, it's free. Just come on. Let's jump in, download it. Let's check it out. And if it's for you, it's for you.
Free to play, my dude.
Hey, it's not. But
it's gonna be legit.
So
you
I'm
know.
excited for it.
Yeah, that's the other big key of that point is PC, right? Like this is a PC game as well. We've been putting a lot of effort into that. So
I think this will be the first
console, but also PC, free
Halo
to play,
game that will
like
launch
the barrier to entry
on
is so
PC.
low, and that has us excited. And I think as we really just to really think about it, is we've been working on this game, and as developers, when you work on a game, you want to get that game out there, and that almost seems like for us that's the finish line, but in reality, it's going to be the starting line for all of us, for us and the Halo fans. Day one, there's going to be a bunch of content there and things that are exciting and good. But then we're going to add more content. We're going to add more maps.
I need there to be a release date, chat. I need to know when it's coming out so I can book the day off work.
It's just the beginning.
Book the week off
This
work,
whole
maybe.
journey that we've been on for a
Just
while.
play the
and
whole
we're gonna
damn
take,
thing.
everyone else with us as the game comes out.
I'm excited. Gentlemen, again, thank you so much. Now, for fans who want to learn even more about Halo Infinite multiplayer, check out the brand new deep dive video with the whole multiplayer team over on HaloWaypoint.com. And allow me to give a big thanks to everyone who's joined us today. Whether you play your favorite games on Xbox, PC, or Game Pass, the next 12 months will be nothing short of spectacular. It has been my absolute honor to be your host and share this experience with you. But before I go, here's a gameplay deep dive from the team behind the highly anticipated Scarlet Nexus.
Okay, weird one to finish on. But alright.
世界観を表現した世界観が収められたものになっています。で、見た目
So
ビジュアル
Scarlet
の
Nexus is like
この Scarlet Nexus
the
の
new
ビジュア
kind
ルの
of
特徴だ
weird
とか、
high
あとは
concept
キャラクターの見た目
JRPG
だとか、様々なルックスに
they've
つ
been
い
sort
て
of teasing with trailers over the last couple of months.
はい、この
It
都市
looks
は
kinda,
この世界の
it
中
looks
では
very
一
action
番大き
RPG-ish.
な都市というふうに紹介されています。ここはスオーという都市で、このゲームの中心
I'm
にな
not
る場
sure
所です。
if I'm
このス
overly
オーの都
enamored
市の
with
見
it,
た目のイン
but
スピレーションは東京の景色と日本の90年代の景色をイメ
we'll check it
ージ
out
してます。
if it
ユニ
picks
ーク
our
なビジュアル部分っ
interest.
ていうのはいくらかあると思うんですけれど、であと今回はセルシェーディングとリアリスティックな背景を合成するような見た目を選んでい
I
るんですけ
do
れ
like the
ど、
art style.
それはまず密度感を表現したいからというのが一つありました。であともう一つはそのセルシェーディングのキャラクターとリアリスティックな映像が混ざることによってまたそこでも異質な見た目、ちょっと面白い見た目にならないかなっていうのも模索しました。でただ単にセルシェーディングのキャラクターをリアリスティックな背景に置いてしまうとすごく浮いてしまって見た目が変になってしまうっていうのを懸念してたんですけれど、うまくそこを混ざるように工夫したっていうのが今回の
It's very
苦労した
difficult
点
to
の一つ
speak
であり
over
ま
him
す。
because I know you can like read the subtitles and
例え
get
ば
the
今映
gist
像
of
の
what
中
he's
で東
saying,
京タ
but
ワーが
I
映
feel
ってると
rude
思うんですけれど、
speaking
こ
over
れは
him, you know?
日本では有名なランドマークで海外の人も見たことがあるかもしれないものと思うんですけど、その東京タワーがものすごく大きなサイズになっていて、でこれ3000メートル富士山と同じぐらいサイズがあるんですけど、それだけ大きなもの本当はそんなにサイズない333メートルの東京タワーをそれだけ大きくすることによってちょっとおかしい異質な景色みたいのを作りたいっていうのがありました。そのさっき東京の都市をいろいろと混ぜるみたいな話をしたと思うんですけれど、それというのもその僕たちも知ってる街なんだけれどちょっとおかしいみたいなそういった異質さを出したいっていうのがありまして、なので東京タワーも僕たちは知ってるものだけどすごく大きなこんな大きなサイズじゃないんだけどこういったものが
Okay, so it's kind of like an experiment with the uncanny. It's like it looks the way it's supposed to, but something feels weird.
で大きな桜の木というのは日本を代
Alright,
表
I'm
す
into
る
it.
桜の木なんですけど、それがあまりにも大きなサイズになっていて、これもさっきの東京タワーと同じで異質さを感じてほしいと思ってやっていることです。でこれが本作の特徴となる怪異という 主人公たちに立ちはだかる敵なんですけれど、この見た目については私はその新規 IP 新しい IP の新しいクリーチャーということで変わった見た目、何か興味を引く見た目にしたいというのが一つありました。でその上で私たちの感覚とは違うものを取り入れたいというのがきっかけにありまして、実際にアーティストの力を借りてこの会議のデザインを再現しています。でそのアーティストの表現というのはその美しさがありながらもその死の世界だとかそのネガティブなイメージとポジティブなイメージを一つにしたような幻想的な表現をする作家の方なんですけれど、また彼らの動きについてこだわっているのは私たちの知っているような
But there is a surrealist kind of, again, it's that uncanny, there's real world elements to it. They're clearly inspired by real world creatures, but they're different, you know? Like that's clearly a bear with human hands, you know? You know what I'm saying?
人間っぽい部分だけはモーションキャプチャーを使ってるんですけど、そうでない部分は手付けなどにしてその人間の動きとそうでない動きをミックスさせることで不思議な動きにできないかなというのを考えていました。
はい、共に新入隊員として入隊したキャラクターが2人いるというところで、同じ時系列から始まって、ただその同じ境遇に置かれている一つの物語をそれぞれの視点から描いていく。それぞれの視点で描くことで、その時片方の視点では見えなかった状況とかを別の視点では楽しんでいただける、そういうストーリーの楽しみ方を皆さんに提供したいと思って今回2人の主人公を用意しました。そして1人目がこちらですね、ゆいとすめらぎキャラクターですね。彼はですね非常に正義感が強くて、幼い頃に貝飛ばすぐに自分が貝から救われたっていう経験を持っていて、でその経験から自らも貝飛ばすぐに志願して入隊したというキャラクターになっています。そしてもう一人がこちらのカサネランドールですね。はい、彼女はですね、非常に優れた超能力を持っている、もうエリートと呼ばれるキャラクターですね。海討伐軍からもスカウトして入隊した非常に優秀なキャラクターです。左側がですね、この重ねの視点ですね。で、右側がユイトの視点でのイベントシーンになっていきますが、今重ねの視点でご覧いただいた通り、ちょっとユイトの姿が見えたりとかしています。で、今重ねの方ですね、一緒に同行しているキャラクター、このキャラクターが実は未来予知の能力を持っているキャラクターで、ちょっとこのユイトたちがやられそうだなっていうのはちょっと分かるようなシーンになっています。この頃ユイトの方は今止めてますけど、これはユイトの方では入らずに次のシーンに進んでいきます。
That's weird.
という形で、進んでいくと、こういうふうに貝が降ってきて、同じような状況に置かれてしまう。ユイトの方ではこういうふうになってるんだなっていうのは分からずに進んでいきますが、重ねの方ではやっぱりそうなったかっていう形で物語が進行していきます。こういうふうに同じ一つのシーンでもですね、それぞれがつながりを持って感じられる、そういうふうなストーリーラインを作ろうとして、今回のこの
So it's got weird perspective shifts as
今
well.
発売までっていうところでもうほぼ4年以上かかってるんですけれども、このストーリーラインというところももちろん企画
4 years seems like a fairly short turnaround for AAA games.
非常に多くの時間を要していて、もうこの2人のこのストーリー緻密にこういうふうに絡み合ったつながりを持った一つのストーリーとして完成させるまでにやはり2年から3年の歳月を要しています。あとはですね、アクションの部分に関しても、開発チームとすごく議論して決めてまして、特にこの念力アクションもどういうふうな念力を使えたら皆さんが分かりやすく直感的に気持ちよくなってもらえるかっていうところは、非常に開発の中でもですね議論を重ねてできてきた部分がありますので、この念力を使うユイトと重ねのこのストーリーですね、物語っていうのをぜひ楽しんでもらえればと思います。
はい、本作はですね、もともと僕がサイボーグ009とかいろんなキャラクターがいろんな能力を使って戦う集団っていうものが大好きで、そういういろんな能力を使う集団を改めてゲーム化したいっていう思いで企画を立ち上げました。あとサイキックアクションのもう一つの主軸としてSAS というものがあります。正式名称はストラグルアームズシステムというんですけど、 仲間キャラクターからその超能力を借り受けるシステムですね。
Okay.
脳を接続して仲間キャラクターから超能力を借り受けることで、
Oh yeah, because it's got that weird
ユー
like
トとかそれは使えるようになります。今
Pacific
画面
Remy
上では
kind of
放電の超能力を今
psychic link between
放
characters
電
thing
の超
going
能
on.
力だ
That
けに
was
限らず、瞬間移動
that's
と
a
か
mechanic
透
they
明化とか、
mentioned really early on
ポピュラー
in
で
the
誰し
hype
もがその一度は
section.
使ってみたいっていう超能力を選定してます。
That'd be cool.
本作のそのキーワードとして赤い線っていうものがあるんですけど、サスを使った時にその赤いケーブルが背中に刺さってその戦うことができますの。そうですね、サスケーブルデザインするときにその
Yeah, the red strings are kind of
見
like a
た
weird
人のその
thematic
印象に残ってインパク
mechanic
トに
that
残したいってことが
came
まず
up
あった
very
んです
early
ね。
in
で
the
そういう
the
時見た
trailers,
ときに
whatever.
まあ
So that's interesting.
過去タイ
That's
トルを見たときに、
a
例えばキング
mechanical
ゲイ
thing
ラ
as
ー
well
のそ
as
の
a
刺さってる
motif.
ケーブルだったりとか、あとはそうですね、日本のアニメのガンツなんかもそのケーブルが刺さって戦う様っていうところがすごくクールだったので、そのあたりはそのインスパイアされながらそのデザインっていうものを進めた経緯がありますね。はい、本作ですね、念力で戦うんですけど、単純に投げ飛ばすだけじゃなくて、このロケーションに置いてあるオブジェクトをいろいろ活用することができます。今
Drops truck on
工事
it. I
現場
like
にあるので、工事現場のロケーションなのでダンプを上から落としたんですけど、そのようにそのロケーションにあったそのオブ
Sometimes
ジ
you just
ェ
gotta
クトを
drop a
自分なりに
truck on a
扱うことがで
motherfucker,
き
you
るって
know?
ところが、
We've all done it.
はい、ここはそうですね、ドラム缶の中から水を出してその貝を水浸しにしてます。でその後そのサスの放電で戦うことで水浸しになったその貝を電気でしびれさせるということもできるので、その超能力念力とそのサスを組み合わせて戦うというところが一つ特徴となっております。しっかり遊びたい人もそのカジュアルに遊びたい人も幅広く楽しめるものとなっております。はい、プレイヤーはですね、このようにブレインフィールドっていうね、その特別な必殺技を使うことができます。これはですね、海抜軍が使うことができる近畿の技で非常に強力なんですけど、同時に非常に危険な技でもあります。ユートと重ねが展開することで、そのオブジェクトがその空間内に浮き上がってその念力は使い放題になるんですけど、一方でその非常に強い負荷が脳にかかってしまいますね。なので自分の言動がちょっとおかしなことを言ってしまったりとか、あとは聞こえないなノイズのような幻聴が聞こえたりとか、あとはこのようにその途中で頭抱えて動けなくなったりとか、そういうことがあります。で加えてですね、この残り時間の秒数があるんですけど、これが制限時間が過ぎるとゲームオーバーになってしまうっていう非常に危険な技になっております。はい、なんだけどその非常に危険な技なんですけど、それをうまく使いこなして戦う自分がかっこいいっていう風な思いをプレイヤーに感じ取ってもらいたいなと思って。
Okay, so it's a very high risk reward
発
kind
動
of
したら
mechanic.
フードをかぶってそのたくさんケーブルが刺さった異様な姿になるかなと思うんですけど、これもそのダークヒーローっぽいかっこよさがそのすごく危険な超能力を自分が扱って戦ってるってところを感じ取ってもらいたくて、このようなデザインにしております。はい、こちらブレインマップと呼ばれるシステムになりますね。こちらはプレイヤーが成長するスキルツリーとなっております。このようにそのちょっとその脳みその形をデザインしたツリーを意識して作ってます。でその、今チャージがため攻撃ができるようになりましたね。このようにその、能力を拡張してその新たなアクション、この映像の中ではため攻撃で範囲攻撃をできるようになってるんですけど、そういったそのアクションの拡張
I
だけ
mean,
じゃな
this
くて、
is really interesting, but I
念
don't know how
力ゲージ
interesting
が
it is for you,
増加す
you
る
guys
強化系
watching
のス
it.
キルだったりとか、
Like, I would love to
アイ
go
テ
in
ムを
and
使用した
watch
後
big
の
deep
そのクー
dive
ル
on
タイム
all
が
of this
短く
stuff,
なるよう
really
な
learn about
補
the
助スキル
design.
とか、
But I realize
様
actually
々な
listening to someone else
いくつか
talk
カテゴリー
about
の
it
スキル
while
を
I
することが
can't
できる
really
よう
make
に
any comment because you'll miss
でその
something.
脳み
It's
そ
probably
を
not
その
great
脳
for
神経
your
を拡張していくような
experience.
デザインにこだわってて、
We're
そ
kind
の
of committed now,
スキ
you
ル
know?
を
I
選
feel like
択
we're
して
here,
ボタンをホール
we're
ドすることで
talking.
その神経が伸びていって、そのどんどん
Been here for 2
脳
hours,
神経が
Jet.
拡張していくような、そう
Talking
いう
about
そ
video
の
games. It's been
体験
great.
になることを意識してデ
I'm
ザ
a
イン
big
して
fan
い
of
ます。
talking about video games.
はい、ブレインマップ以外ですと、
Probably like
基本
talking
的
about
に
video games
通常
more
の
than like
レ
playing
ベルア
video
ップで
games.
その敵と戦って経験値を
Which
積む
is
ことで通常のレベルアッ
weird.
プでそのパラメータが底上げされるっていうことに加えて、仲間との絆ですね。仲間と絆形成することでその絆の力が強くなると絆レベルというものが上がって、その仲間から買い受ける超能力っていうものが強力になってきます。そのブレインマップと通常のレベルと、あとはその 仲間との絆を形成して成長させるってところが、この3つがこのゲームのその成長システムになっております。このゲーム、その武器と念力の流れるようなコンビネーションってところが一つ特徴にしているんですけど、その流れるようなコンビネーションの体験ってところがシリーズ X だと 60fps で滑らかに体験できるので、その部分はすごくそのリッチな体験になってるなっていうふうに感じます。はい、開発チーム一同ね、スタッフ個々が全力で携わったタイトルですので、ぜひ楽しみにしていただけると嬉しいです。From my team and I, please enjoy Scarlet Nexus.
Okay. I think that's gonna be it. All right. That was really interesting, chat. I don't know if it was as interesting for you as it was for me, I'll be honest. Hold on. I'm wondering if there is going to be any more. Anyway. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to be as interesting, if this whole thing was as interesting for you. Oh, no, wait, hold on. There's more. Or is it? They teased me, chat. They teased me. All right, let's recap. I think that was really interesting. It was really cool to learn more about kind of like the developer angle on how some of these things are coming together. I'm really keen on a lot of these games. I realize, again, I said this earlier, this probably wasn't a great viewer experience because I was kind of expecting more like Sunday's event where maybe there'd just be more titles being announced, more surface level stuff that we could talk about and analyze, but actually a lot of the analysis was happening on screen. So yeah, it probably wasn't as cool an experience. You know, like they were saying all the interesting things and I wasn't, which is a thing that happens sometimes. So maybe this wasn't a great thing to stream, possibly. But I had a lot of fun. It was something I was going to watch anyway. I'm glad I got to share with you guys. It was great. I think we had a nice time. I'm not going to sit and do any sort of post-amble on it, I don't think. I don't think anybody really needs to hear that. But I'm going to say it's going to be a great year for Game Pass. It's going to be a great year for video games. I'm really excited to see more of this stuff. And I hope you will join me in experiencing some of it. Yeah. Like and subscribe if you like video games, I guess. All right. So one last thing. We're just going to go over next week. This Sunday, we're going to do one last sort of bout of trailer reactions. We're going to cover a few of the games that we didn't get a chance to look at some of the other conferences. There's just a few titles I really kind of want to check out. So we'll go into that first. And then we're going to play Plague Tale Innocence. Because I'm really keen on the sequel coming out. Plague Tale Requiem. So yeah, we're going to do that. I don't have any other stream plans for this week. Next week, we're going to finish up the series of videos on Little Nightmares. And then we're going to go to weekly streams and short videos. Just super chill. We're just going to hang out. It'll be great. Not much else to say other than video games are nice. Y'all are great. Thank you very much for sticking around through what was a very different live stream tonight. Thank you very much for that. If you enjoyed yourself, a like would be super appreciated. If you're new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I stream once a week at least. We release videos every week. It'd be nice to have you on our little journey. But as always, chat, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you next time. Peace.